Hello.
Yeah.
There we go.
We are.
For old
Back.
time's sake.
It has been a
Finally
freaking
yeet.
while.
Month and a week, I think?
It's been a bit.
5 weeks.
Yep.
Be sure.
So let's see if I remember how to DM.
Oh.
I-
It's a vibe.
So, who would like to recap last time?
We won the fight.
Won the fight.
We did!
Yeah.
Won.
We won the fight. Everything's good. We're taking a day off. I think that's pretty much all we need to say at this point. It's not worth going with a blow-by-blow recap.
Understandable. Important bit is the souls of Ophiuchus have been trapped and are effectively dealt with and are in possession of the party. What they do with it is up to them. Material has been retrieved, and you guys have returned home.
Can I eat them?
That's a great question. All
Could
right.
I mean,
so-
could I?
That's a great question. So, we did a brief response last time. You got the initial welcome and everyone back. I imagine after a full days off, as you guys have so rightly deserved, of relaxation, recovery, a lot of tears. Is there anything that you guys do the first day after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crack my knuckles and bring back Aquarius.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
And I have her memories, in case she doesn't have them.
Okay.
all right. So, what spell are you using to do this, Ty?
True Resurrection.
All right. So go ahead and mark off the diamonds and click True Resurrection. Right?
It's not diamond. Oh, wait. Is that one diamonds? There's
Is
one
that
of them
one?
that's stupid. There's one that's stupid. I'm gonna click True Resurrection.
Yeah, I think it's reincarnate.
Okay.
That's the stupid one.
Okay, that was the stupid one.
All right. So, touch a creature that's been dead for no longer than 200 years. All right.
I don't have to touch her. I can also just speak her, and I don't need a physical body.
All right. I will say, for the sake of this, that you were able to find the name of Aquarius first. And you speak her name. Describe to me what the true resurrection of Aquarius looks like, Ty. It goes off without a hitch, seemingly. It's something about material has changed.
Can
with the
I
death of Ares.
can I rip her physical body out of the sword?
You can do however you go ahead and describe it. You tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, Xenia will reach into the sword of Ares that I initially took. No, it was Ophiuchus.
Mhm.
Which one was it?
It was Ares. It was Ophiuchus' sword.
Which
Ares used it to kill Aquarius.
which one?
The
Fight.
big guy.
The one that had a sword.
Geth.
E.
Geth.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the one.
I reach into the big fuck off sword.
Mhm.
And I grab on to what to Xenia is a red thread.
Okay.
And alongside it a silver thread, which the soul connects, and that's what astral projection is.
Mhm.
And Xenia tugs on it, then just blows on their knuckles a little bit, tugs on it again, and out comes unconscious Aquarius.
Can I offer
She-
one small thing?
Go
Okay.
for it.
Given elemental leanings in that, you pull out a big snowball that cracks and Aquarius is in the middle of it.
Yes.
It's really
Okay.
funny.
It's
Alright.
like, you know how I think Han Solo is like in Carbonite?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like that, but ice and snow.
Excellent. All right. So you pull out the small blizzard of Aquarius, and as she kind of pops out like a caveman frozen in ice for 10,000 years, the ice like flash melts, and she tumbles onto the ground. And you can see her. There is a large scar through the chest, and she is shivering on the ground. But she is alive.
Could Ash have done a thing while this was like being known to have happened today?
Go for it. God, Farah, that was really funny.
I couldn't make the joke verbally, so I had to write it down.
Sky. Sorry, 7.
He wants to run to I forget the name of it, the dragon skeleton in the Plane of Ice.
Okay. Yep. I forgot the name too. That's all right.
Yep.
Tooth Ragnar.
He wants to go find the polar bear.
Okay. Yeah. The polar bear is initially not happy to see you. What do you do to convert it to your side?
Where's my primeval awareness? I think.
Is that the one where you
Uh,
can make yourself understood?
Yep. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas to beasts as an action. So I'm just going to be just doing my best to be, dude, look, we have her, she's safe.
Bro.
Bro.
She's
mine.
gonna want to see you when she wakes up.
If Asher
Alright,
wants a
just-
boost to that, remember
Yep.
he can pull from Rosalind and she has that. So
Yep.
feel free. It takes nothing.
He's a weird border between beast and elemental, so yeah, you can totally sorry. You can communicate at least. Just out of curiosity, give me an advantage animal handling check.
Can I do persuasion? Because I'm physically talking to him.
Yeah, go for it.
Alright.
Alright. The name Aquarius catches the attention of it. Whose name was Thorin? Or Thorin. And yeah, he essentially gives you a look of disbelief and distrust.
Mm-hmm.
But you coax him back through the portal, or however you arrived there.
Mhm.
And assumedly just before, or maybe during this ritual,
Mhm.
there is now an ice bear, sitting, waiting, looking very distrustful of all of you.
Mhm.
And when Aquarius, yep, go ahead.
Aquarius flops out, he goes, "You gotta go warm her up." And just gesture, like with the C told you.
All right, and yeah, so as tumbles on the ground, shivering Aquarius, Esther immediately goes to put the cloak on Aquarius. There is a brief moment of there's a large shadow behind me, and Esther, as you turn around, there's a bear shoving past you to basically flop over like a blanket onto Aquarius, and
understood.
a keening noise coming from the massive rumbling chest. At the moment, Aquarius is just shivering on the ground. And eventually she kind of like, you see the eyes like somewhat flutter, and there's like this inky blackness for a second behind them until eventually clears slowly, and the hands kind of grip onto the fur of Thorin, and there's just an ugly sobbing noise as she bares her face into the scruff of the neck and is just sobbing, as it were. But presumably you each eventually coax her into being able to, process the world around her. And first she goes to Xenia, kind of wrapped up in the cloak, very damsel left in the rain, and has like the jacket pulled over her shoulders. Goes up to you, Xenia, and just hug around the waist and just a almost silent repeated thank you under her breath is kind of whispered into you.
I would do it for anyone.
Just
Like a-
keep repeating thank you and thank you over again.
It's like a pat on the back of the head.
Yep. And she turns next to Esther and just arms around the neck, very much like fuck, what's husband's name? Shit.
Ooh.
Real?
Gareel. Thank you. God damn it. Much like Gareel when you came back yesterday. Just on your shoulder, not letting you go. I imagine the sentiment is shared.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you guys can. Yeah, she is alive, and she seems to be whole as far as you can tell.
Do you remember?
I do. It was. There are parts that I wish I didn't. she just shakes her head, and you see her hand once more tighten on the neck of Thoran.
No need to speak of it if you don't wish. Let the wound heal a while, and then we can talk.
It's just the tiniest choking noise and a nod.
Do you want to see something that was built for you?
Kind of looks up and sure.
And if the party is okay with it, Esther would like to lead all of them to where the statue of Aquarius is still under construction.
All right. I'll say the dwarves, in their almost fervor of excitement of you guys being back, they've been working on it, and I'll say there's the rough outline at least is done with the details of the face being kind of worked on. There's like this curtain that's floating in the air around it, keeping it out of the public view while it's being worked on, and about 12 dwarves, all like tiny chisels, doing the finest details. And as you kind of enter with Aquarius, there is a beardly swarm of affection, and then a quick clearing out to let you see how it's been progressing, and it looks like her. And as she kind of looks at it for a second, face. Roll an insight check. Roll an insight check for me, Esther.
Oh dear. Hold on. Fuck.
She is
Can I use a
right
fame
now.
point for advantage?
Sure.
That's better.
All right. Yeah, she is still hard to read right now. There's a lot going on behind her eyes, but there's a distinct sense of a conflict between pride and grief, almost. And she just grabs onto your hand and squeezes it hard.
We didn't know if you'd be able to come back. So I wanted to make sure that your memory would live on, and if you were brought back, then it would outlive you. You've
She
done a lot
nods.
for us, and you've made your mark in this world, with your people and with ours. That deserves to be honored.
I'm not done. I need to see how things are right now, and I need to make it better.
And it will change as you do.
Kind of turns to you, and if anyone else is there, she's not totally paying attention to anyone else but Esther right now. I'm free now, right?
Boss is dead.
Yeah.
She looks to you for a second, Ashton. Libra? What
No.
happened?
The
13.
one
Oh.
pulling the strings.
They're dead?
Nods.
Longer.
Though that other one is still MIA.
Oh, she pauses. It's like this tiny grin. Ophiuchus is dead.
He's long gone. We have his souls. He can't wreak havoc anymore.
And the smile kind of widens a bit, and she kind of just looks upward and she goes, "Fuck you, Ophiuchus!" Like both middle fingers to the air.
The
There's
most
just
vulgar you've ever seen.
basically just tears running tracks down her face. Okay. And she kind of smiles and that does help. And Ares, he's dead too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
I need to go find a men.
They're waiting for you.
She just kind of nods and okay. Nearest portal.
Me.
Or me.
Good. Take your pick. I have a crusade to run.
I don't really have a tuning fork for playing device, so Ash.
Look with that.
he walks over. Well, I think does he have a? Yeah, he has a nice portal gem.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you guys at least over the course of the next like day or two can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll ask you. You got a portal sequence?
Yeah, I have a hidden teleportation circle if that helps. Does it?
Sounds good.
All right, and yeah, do you go with her or are you dropping her off? She makes it clear she's intending to start some shit and she's getting ready to go do her own thing, basically.
He just looks at her and goes, "Look, we've already done our own little revolution. This one you can handle on your own. Don't run right into it. Make sure you can walk. Make sure you have friends with you. If you'd rather go to a different plane first and pick up some help, go."
I acknowledge you're probably giving good advice. I need to find my men. That's where it's all going to start. And I have materials that can do that. At my home, I can find all of them. Even the ones who are dead. I can find them. I need to go there first.
And if you need a hand, if things get a little too much, I'm one message away.
I'll probably need all of your help eventually, but first steps.
Asha will pluck a hair from her head.
Okay.
Yep. And if you don't let us know, we're gonna check.
Probably a wise idea. And she turns to go and... Senior, can I ask one favor before I leave?
Yo.
Could you take me off of Death's Door first? Remember, she revives at 1 HP.
Is it really 1 HP?
Yeah, you can come back to life at 1 HP.
Oh my god.
Restored to life with all its hit points.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yes, true resurrection. 1 HP is revivify.
Get shit
Oh,
rocked.
awesome. Okay, in that case, she just feels like death. Cool.
And then Xenia gives her a honey cake.
Excellent.
That does it.
She takes it. She seems like she is fucking ravenous.
Yeah.
Despite that, a half of it is given to Thorine, and he just kind of slurps it up.
Xenia just gives another one to them for another honey cake.
Excellent.
Ash will just pass one of the probably few water skins he has on him over.
Probably. You guys are right near the lake too, anyways. So, yeah, they both look up, get ready to go. They have like honey around their mouths. I'm like, okay,
You got a little something.
priorities. Let's go.
Astra will hand the strand of hair over to Xenia.
Xenia will get like a tiny jar from Fervus and stick the hair in it. Label it AQ.
Took a little
Alright.
while.
All right, little DNA sample. Gotcha. All right, so yeah, are you guys teleporting with her, or are you just sending her to do her thing?
Purvis has other things to do for the time being, but yeah.
Okay.
Rosalind has, I assume, this whole time been wrangling diplomats who are still on the island.
Yep, probably.
So,
Xenia will probably assist you.
thank you.
Sister's trying to get Leo to come fucking take the Phoenix back.
Yeah, I will say Leo is not currently on the island.
Motherfucker!
Astra will, if he can, just ask Aquarius to message all of her Zodiac friends.
Yep, that's part of the first steps I'm going to be taking. Who's dead? Who's still alive?
He'll just tell the people who he knows is MIA.
Okay. Just gonna know.
Like, as far as I know, no one but Ares and the two assholes died.
Yep. There's just the kind of few missing people. And she goes, okay. A lot of work to do. She gives you each a hug, and Asha, she just kind of gives a nod and, like, makes a motion for a hug, kind of waiting for you to engage.
It shrugs, sure.
Yep, it's a quick hug. Pat moves on.
It's just become
obviously, like-
a fair bit more emotionally available since you died. It's a whole thing.
It's almost like dying does things to people. Dying does things to brains.
Stop. Fuck you. Fuck you. Straight up. Fuck off.
Yeah, she goes on her way, and we will cut back to her in a week, basically, as to what she gets up to. But yeah, this one day after. Anything else you guys are getting up to on this immediate day after? You could have done that in the morning. It wouldn't have taken more than an hour if you didn't want it to.
Purvis is going back to the university.
All right, the university is still currently evacuated.
Evacuated.
Oh yeah, because isn't that area exploding?
Can we take a day off before we go and rip?
Let's take a day off, and then that. Yeah, I wanted to do the thing after that.
Okay.
Once the
We'll get to that.
university's.
Okay, we'll get to that in the 1 week time frame in that case.
Yeah.
So, your day off. What's everyone doing?
I want to find where the fuck Leo went.
All right. How do you do so?
Gonna go ask Capricorn.
All right, she's probably still on the island. You find her like very carefully taking apart like a donut piece by piece with like the long gnarled fingers and just eating it like it's finger food, but like almost by like thimbleful essentially. She looks up to you as you come by. Yes.
Sorry to bother. Do you happen to know where Leo is?
So you're gonna close your eyes and may I use my magic?
Yes, please.
She's gonna close her eyes and you see her put the donut down for a second and the fingers steeple together. I sense ruins. Not of the large capital, just south.
South of the large capital, he's in ruins. Ruins of a city or ruins just in general?
Of a city, no. Town?
Just south.
The remains of a druid circle.
Can you
Go ahead and roll for me a history check.
hold on?
If anyone is nearby, you can assist.
That's probably as good as what I get. I'm not gonna lie.
Alright. You do know there is a kind of like a almost like a memorial area. A druid circle that was burnt down, sort of. Old history, like before even the wizards were in power. It's just south of Peduncle.
Okay. Could I direct the castle to start kind of drifting over, like heading that way?
Yeah, sure.
Cool beans. Thank you very much.
Do you have more pastries?
I'm sure we have plenty. I'll ask Xenia. They run the kitchen.
Excellent. It goes back to just like picking apart the donut piece by piece.
So we'll run to Xenia and be like, yo, the witch lady wants fucking donuts!
Xenia, the witch lady wants donuts.
I got something to do.
Alright.
I hate to say it, but ask Pierre.
I was going to ask if I could enter your kitchen.
Yes.
Because I respect the fact that that is your space and I don't want to intrude upon it.
You're one of the good ones.
And with that permission,
I'm not sure the optics on saying that to a Genasi. I'm not sure if that's a great thing to say to a Genasi.
It's not a good thing to say to a Fae either in this setting.
Fair point, fair point.
she's gonna kind of blink and then be like, oh, right, I got it. Like, kind of, I had to take a minute to sit back and be like, not racist, right?
Gotcha. Alright. So, you go ahead and find Pierre, and Pierre basically has a messenger check with Xenia first if it's okay to use a bunch of ingredients that is stored in your kitchen. Presumably, it is given, and either way, pastries are made and sent to the bog witch of the plate of earth.
Tell her they're not the best. Esther, you have to tell her they're not the best ones on the island. I'll do that when I'm done my shit.
I will let her know, don't you worry. And she'll, upon passing Capricorn probably again, she'll make sure to let her know that these aren't the best on the island. It's just the best that we can get right now.
She does not complain, and she seems happy to just carefully pick it apart crumb by crumb.
In that case, I have to actually, later on, y'all do some stuff first, but afterwards I have something also I want to add.
Xenia, what are you getting up to?
I don't want to RP it, but I'll just message it to you because it's funny.
Okay, if you want to just say it, up to you. I'm not gonna RP everything, but I figure the first day we can get the RPing out of the way there.
That's it. I don't want to.
God. All right. I can see why you don't want to RP that.
I told
Um,
you.
Ashta, give me a perception check.
Oh my god.
Oh. Oh no.
15. At some point through the day, you see Sammy leaving the room crying.
Ah, yeah.
You can choose to engage with that as you wish.
He'll just look over walking down the hall. You good?
To Sammy?
Yeah.
She kind of looks at you and just, I'm an adult. I can process things. I'm going to go find some food, and I'm going to ask Pierre for it.
Okay.
Oh.
Fun.
She nods, and just goes, pauses, just salutes, tears running down her face, and moves on.
He awkwardly returns it.
Wait, y'all broke up?
I had that planned for a while. Yeah, I'm gonna say like in advance. I had plans of also getting back together.
Oh,
I spoke
okay.
with Conrad about this.
Yep.
I have
We'll get
not
to
been
it.
aware of this, I'll be completely honest.
It was
Okay.
one of my initial plans.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
One of those couples then.
Oh my god.
She's 100 years old. She hasn't done her own maturing.
Sometimes it's right person, wrong time.
Exactly.
That's all.
That's fine in one RP.
No, that's completely fair.
But with respect, cry.
Alright. Ashta, what are you getting up to?
He's just making sure everything goes smooth with everyone else, if he
Okay.
can.
Fervus, you have a standing order with Samsir, if you want to get to work on that.
Let's get to work on that then. I don't
Alright.
remember what the standing order was, but
A shit ton of catnap potions.
yes,
Meth.
let's get to work on those. Like immediately,
Alright.
like say hi to the dwarves. It's like, all right, we got an order.
Alright, so
Next
how
year,
many
once
dwarves are
I'm
you
on a
recruiting for this?
forklift of meth.
Oh,
All of them.
there's
You
many
have
fun-
like you got 20 about that are trained in alchemy. You can get probably about 50 who are willing to at least help.
Let's get the extra hands. Let's do the 50, and
Alright.
have like 10 or 20. Have like 10 of them like really like lead like a bunch of groups on like certain stages of the process. And
Excellent.
get it done more efficiently.
Alright, roll for assembly line alchemy.
Cool. Alchemy.
Alchemy with
check.
advantage.
Advantage. Okay. Oh my god. Advantage. Oh fuck. One second. My page is loading.
Alright, we'll get to that in a second then. Yep. Ashta, I imagine Esther will appreciate the help.
Yeah.
In the
thought
meantime,
you-
Rosalind.
Rosalind's only goal for a day off is to get a book, play with Puppy, and just relax. She is doing nothing this day. She's doing nothing
May 7th.
intense. It's gonna be just... Yeah.
Taking your time? Gotcha.
She
Out
hasn't
of
had
curiosity,
one
which
of those days in a long time.
Which book? Out of curiosity. Do you have one in mind?
Nope, doesn't matter.
You want to use
Alright.
the book?
She'll reread an old one, she'll use the book if it's willing to cooperate and can give her something just entertaining.
Have you finished Tusk Love for book club?
Part of me imagines she might have, part of me thinks maybe she's got one chapter left, but then she's gonna need more reading material afterwards, so...
Roll my D100. I have a book table.
Okay.
Yo, book club needs to start again, man.
That's a divine intervention if I were a cleric in doing that.
I was just about to say it. As a cleric, that's a divine intervention.
For a book list, I don't know if that's good or bad.
You get a book called The Felicitous Feline Fiasco. It is essentially the book
thing
version of
together.
Cats, but if Cats was the plot of Shrek.
Oh,
What the fuck?
nice. Love that.
It's weird. It's a bit of a nightmare to read. It's weirdly compelling.
She gets one chapter in, shuts the book, and says, "That's enough of that."
All right, put it on the D100.
They really got to Magnificent Mr. Mistopheles, and you just tuned out.
18, that's another divine intervention.
I love you. I both love
Wow.
you and hate you.
You feel like a whisper in your ear of just like, oh, that one looks like fun as you're looking through the bookshelf. It's essentially King Arthur, but King Arthur, if instead of being weirdly colonialist in some sections, instead it's more focused on discovery, more of an adventure novel where they what's it called? It kind of explore a land never seen before and kind of integrate with it instead of colonizing it.
Okay. That one
Also,
I think she can
less
do.
religious.
Mhm.
Yes. All right, Purvis, you go. By the end of the day, you make a significant dent in the catnap potions. You have by the end of it, you basically have like a small Amazon warehouse worth of like ingredients ready, and probably about half the order done by now, along with the progress you had made beforehand. Probably another day, probably like another full day of this, and you'll have the order ready.
So we'll get to work on that, and then we'll, after the order's done, we'll head down to the
To the
university.
all right, we'll get to university in a bit. In the meantime, Ashta and Esther looking for Leo, I assume.
Yes.
All right.
I
So,
need to
as
have a talk with Jade as well eventually.
okay, before or after?
Whichever.
Okay, we'll do it before. So Jade is obviously available to you. Yeah, she is happy to see you. Gorilla's been taking care of her for the day. If you wanted the space.
No, he can stay.
Okay.
It's just Jade, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Just basically, it's now that her language skills have kind of gotten a bit better.
Yep.
Do you remember ever giving nightmares to someone?
Mm-hmm. Sort of.
How so?
She's kind of. You feel her almost like try to like mentally link with you just a little bit, almost like she's trying to like find something.
Yeah, I let her.
Yep. And instead of the usual words, instead you see a thing you've heard described before. A image that you very clearly would recognize as a classical depiction of like an afterlife. It's not fun. It's not like horrendous, but you can see where it could very easily get warped into something horrifying. And she kind of just was trying to share.
Who were you trying to show that to?
She shrugs.
Was it someone that we've met before?
Mm-hmm. She nods. He didn't like my thoughts.
Is it the man we met when we were in the desert?
Shrugs again. I think so.
Why were you trying to show it to him?
It, or like eyebrows gonna scrunch up. Felt good. Wanted to
okay.
share. He heard. Didn't like.
Oh. I suppose he didn't. That's okay though, darling. You didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. She kind of like arms out to give you a hug.
And she gives her a hug, and then kind of like while sort of like holding her face, like her head into like Esther's shoulder, Esther kind of gives Gorilla a look of, oh my fucking god.
Gorilla's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like mouthing it.
Yeah, and Esther just mouths the word Oliver and kind of makes a nod to Jade and is like making eyes like, whoa, fuck!
Yep. You hear Jade from behind you and around a honey cake she has in her mouth. Just goes,
Oh, what?
got hungry.
The hungry.
You're not mad?
I'm not mad, sweetheart. No. Never
Okay.
mad. Never, ever mad.
She kind of like turns and looks at Grill. Daddy made a funny face.
She called him dad!
And also, as a reminder, she can read thoughts. Mouthing doesn't help much.
Did she call Gareel dad?
She did.
And Esther starts to tear up and just, yep. Daddy did make a funny face.
There's. She just smiles seeing you too, and you're too happy.
Very happy, sweetheart. Always.
She
with
reaches out
you.
to Grill. Ashta wants you. Me.
Got it.
Directed at you.
She'll hand Jade back to Gareel, give Gareel a kiss on the cheek, and go, at this rate, you're going to be her favorite, and walk away.
There's a happy, proud noise from him, and he just kind of, alright.
And she'll go find
So-
Ashta.
Alright. By now, the island has settled above roughly where you're pretty sure Leo is, and I'm sure by here you can track him pretty easily, Ashton, if you need to.
He's at a druidic circle. Something, an old relic of some kind, a ruin, if you will.
Well, he's gonna explain why.
Definitely.
He picked a hell of a time to go off on his own for something like this. If it's that important, he could have let us know. And he just hops off the edge of the island towards him.
Ashta!
He turns around midair, looking at Esther as he's falling, just like, what? Over Vane.
Esther's gonna look down at him and go, your reaction time is pretty good, right?
The wings out as he's falling and go, why?
Esther just kind of looks at him, looks at the ground, takes a running leap. Catch me.
Oh no!
Out of character,
Okay.
does Esther know Esther has the fly spell?
I think so. Yeah, you've seen, she has the fly potions.
Yeah.
If you
So
need-
if you don't catch her, she'll take one. But she's really hoping that you will.
I can't believe we got to this point. The edge of the island isn't sheer.
Oh, full Keyleth!
Isn't
Uh-oh.
what?
Oh, full
It's not. It's not a sheer drop.
I've jumped off
Oh.
the edge before and you've allowed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, because you have levitate. Just out for fun.
No,
Give me
not,
shit.
I'm gonna eat shit. Connor!
We're getting a
Joking.
Keyleth. Good job, Sky. We did it.
If anyone
just
should,
for fun.
if anyone should do a full Keyleth, is the one who had Keyleth out as their original character art.
I know, right?
Ooh.
Just for fun. Do 100. Just want to see what happens.
Oh, I'm gonna eat shit. and
You're
I'm
fine.
not
I
looking
promise.
forward
I'm
to
just.
it.
I'm doing this purely for fun.
You're gonna eat shit, I'm gonna
Hey.
pick you up by the back of the belt, and you're gonna drink a healing potion, and you'll be
It's-
fine.
It's a double. It's a double. It's 4-4.
Yep.
Come on, that's gonna
It's
be
44.
something.
I was just seeing if it was a 1. You're good.
I was gonna joke and say, isn't 4 in Chinese similar to the word death?
Japanese,
I
and I
will-
was gonna make the
Japanese,
same
okay.
comment. Death.
She, yeah.
But you're fine. It seems death canceled out at like double negatives, so you're good.
I've died once, right?
Yeah, so there's a moment where like you're kind of avatar running down the side of it and have to like hop again to get a bit more distance, but you're good.
Please catch me.
Ashton, do you catch her?
I should go follow alongside her for a bit.
Okay.
She's like, ah!
It just as they're going.
Honestly,
So like, I know you probably have magic for this. You have the potions for this.
And
Like-
she's got her arms out, just with the wind in the hair, just loving every second of it.
Don't your boots do air or something too?
No, they just make me kind of faster.
I believe one of them can also cast the levitate spell,
I think they can. Oh yeah, they can.
which would let you float to the ground safely. Just like putting it out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Bring it out there.
They can,
Okay.
but I find it a very fun trust exercise.
Ashton, you're like 2 rounds from the ground.
Yeah, and he goes, well, I trust you have that kind of magic too, and he will go and he will like pull and take the G's as his wings go up, and then he will
Yep.
grab Esther by the back of the pants and do a full wedgie of the G force.
Fair, that
Esther-
was deserved.
Oh,
Esther,
Oh,
roll for
oh.
second puberty.
I hate you. What the fuck do I roll for? No, can we just say I'm in pain?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Constitution save.
That's
Oh lord. Alright.
Just say 3d6.
Probably not good, I'm assuming.
It's fine. It's a wedgie. You'll live. There's like, despite the fact like it didn't feel great, there's like a moment of, but like you're fine.
Oh boo, don't let me have any fun, shall we?
You look like you're having fun.
You land okay. You've got like that like wind-blown look like your entire body. But you, oh good.
I'm made of the void at this point. Kind of wanted to see what it would feel like to fall into it.
Yeah, you had a solid like 20-second skydive there. It was exhilarating.
Nice.
Also, just for sake of reference, the whole time Ashley just like had his arms crossed and he was just like falling straight down, just kind of casual conversation.
Yep. I'm glad it went exactly how I imagined it. Alright, so you guys can land like right in the Druid circle if you want, up to you.
Maybe like a few meters out, enough that he can hear us land.
Yeah.
Okay. You touch down. You see him actually sitting cross-legged with basically like a picnic blanket out right next to one of the trees. Not facing you guys.
Hey, buddy.
Leo.
Kind of looks over his shoulder and smiles and goes, oh. Waves you over. Got a whole basket.
What are you doing down here?
Eat lunch. I figured
kinda-
things are a bit safer now. I was able to hopefully just enjoy a moment to myself.
Esther kind of looks to Ashta.
There's a twitch on the face, and you thought to make none of the people on the island aware.
One of the Firebirds. Not sure if they understood me.
They didn't.
No.
Shame. Do you want a seat? I have cupcakes.
No.
Are they from Rosalind?
No? They're technically from Planet Fire.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind a seat. And she's gonna sit next to him and kind of look to Ashton. You can stay if you like, or you can go spend some time with Rosalind.
It's the look of like, don't you tell me to go spend time with my wife. I'll go spend time with my wife if I want to.
Out of curiosity, do either of you speak Druidic?
I do not,
Nah.
but I speak Primordial.
Here's an
No,
description.
no, but he'll mentally reach out to Rosalind and just ask for a high five of comprehend languages.
I think technically you're too far away.
Oh, hold on. Wait,
there
wait,
is
wait,
no
wait.
such thing as distance between us, and
Oh, that's right.
also, as I check something on her sheet real
Right.
quick,
you
you can reach out to Rosalind and just get a translation because she speaks Druidic.
At the same time, Esther pulls up Tower of Babylon as well, or Babylon. On the tree is a seemingly freshly carved set of names in Druidic. They seem like material plane names for the most part. There's like a few that seem extra planar.
And she's gonna kind of gesture to all of the names and just, who are they?
Old friends, people I promised I would make the world safer with. Did I
Their
ever
names
tell you where
on
magic comes from?
What?
Did I ever tell you where I get my magic from?
No?
I made a pact with Ophiuchus before I knew what they were.
You were a warlock.
I am a warlock. I was desperate after some, well, kind of gestures to Ashton. Gestures to Esther. I had friends like you guys did. We caroused. We stopped slavery for a lot of my people. And eventually they died. It happened over time, and I promised I would be able to do something about it. I found an old book. I heard a whisper about a growing deity, and I seeked power, and I got it. And now that Ophiuchus is dead, I have the last piece of their power, I think.
Not with these.
Small piece of it, same as a cleric would get, but they never reached deity status, so instead it was simply imparted upon me.
What do you intend to do with it?
That's what I was trying to decide. I don't actually know.
Well, you've been practicing magic for a very long time. You seek power from deities that, unfortunately, at the time, you weren't wise enough as to what their true intentions were. But magic isn't solely found through deities. If you'd like, you already have the basics for it. The knowledge, the will. I could teach you magic that wouldn't rely on a deity.
He smiles, and I tried that once, didn't work very well. Don't have the... Frankly, I think I'd rather, I think I'd like to give the power away to someone responsible. I'm hoping you guys would be willing to let me do so.
Who would you like to give it to?
Did you keep the sword?
She looks to Ashta.
What are your intentions here?
Give the power back to the sword.
What would that do?
I don't know. It would take the power away from me. I wouldn't have a sliver of Ophiuchus anymore. The last piece would be in your hands. That way, if something happens to me, if someone manages to wants to find that power and can do something that I can't imagine, it's not something that I can fail to keep quarantined.
Wouldn't
What
you
you know about
rather...
that sword?
I know it's as old as the Gith. I think. It didn't used to be what it is now. I believe the Ix had a long time to corrupt it. It became the horror that it has become.
And what makes you think putting your power into something like that is a good idea?
I don't want this power, Ashta. I don't want to risk restarting this war. If you have the sword, clearly if you could handle Ophiuchus at full strength, you can handle a piece of it, I imagine. If you don't think it's a safe idea, I will simply try to keep it safe and take it with me to the grave, I think.
There is a place where it could be stored safely. At least I believe so.
I'll ask you again, what makes you think the sword is the best place for it?
I think it's where it came from. It's hard to explain. My magic is based around weaponry.
Might also be the only thing that can house it.
We don't know that.
If you have a better idea, please, I wanted to put the offer out there.
Keep in contact with us. This isn't something I'm deciding with just me and Esther here.
Makes sense. He opens the basket, hands you a cupcake that looks like a piece of ore, Esther.
Esther happily will try some.
It's like tooth grinding. You can get through it. It hurts.
Yeah. I'll eat it anyways. I'm fucking hungry. On other matters of business, at least this is something that we can discuss without the entire group being here. The Phoenix. It needs to return home.
Shall we go handle that?
I'd like to, yes. Very
Among
much.
other elemental influences that are very fiery in nature.
Yeah, we need to work with Valeri.
I believe one of your kind, dead or not, left a volcano core in our ground.
I believe, I can at least try to help with that, I think. Be safer for me than it is for you, at least.
Also, we have a cleric stuck in there, and you're getting him out.
I'll
Please.
do my best. Inside the core?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
We'll be
not good.
wrestling with it. He's
Considering
the
the
main
core
reason
century.
he's the main reason the town above that's probably still there.
Oh, that's not good.
He's been keeping it in check, but unfortunately, it's also been the one keeping him hostage.
That makes sense. Well, let's start with the baby and start with the phoenix.
With the Phoenix.
Maybe if the
Right.
bird on the other side will help us drag that one back.
How far
Right.
how far of a walk is it from here to Peduncle?
A couple kilometers.
Would it
This
take
is
like
this. Oh, like an hour at most. Not even.
okay. I wouldn't mind the walk, if you're alright with that.
I think so. Shall we?
We shall. And she'll kind of look to Ashton and just, would you like to bring the castle around to there, or would you like to accompany us?
I'll head back up and bring it around.
Sounds good.
Right. So you meet at the Egg of the Phoenix. It's
Oh.
let me check. Oh, go ahead.
She's walking with Leo. Can she kind of like bring up the concept of both a trade route between the Genasi tribes and the elemental planes? He has like that merchant experience, and it's
Yes.
something that she would like to open up again.
I think it's something that can be arranged. We'll have to, I imagine, with Ash's help, figure out what's going on with the plans first. See how safe it is, but I believe that can be arranged. If I keep my magic, my portals are fancy.
As well as potentiality for a school. I know Gorilla and I were discussing of opening one. We'd
One.
like to be able to host people from the elemental planes so they can see the material, as well as potentially exchange people from the material to the elemental, if the planes are stable enough.
I feel like I can make a good guest speaker. I can find time in my schedule.
I think you'd be wonderful at it.
I already convinced enough Genasi to run over to my side, so makes sense.
Almost convinced enough Genasi. This is very jokingly, please know this.
He smiles and just, alright, let's go.
To the Phoenix.
You arrive at the Phoenix. Is anyone else joining for this, or is it just going to be these two?
I throw Fane up to the party if they want to come and see.
I'm a bit busy.
Ross, I'd like to imagine this as you're like just getting to the good part of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so it seems like it's just you two.
I might watch, but like from way up high, if we park the island off at a little bit of a distance so it's not right overhead, and I can just see if there's any fireworks.
Yeah, Xenia may sit with her at that point. Because I don't want to go fully down.
So, Esther, as you approach, admittedly, the guards are not inclined to trust Leo, but I imagine with his smooth words and your pedigree, you can get to the
reasons.
yeah, you can get to the egg, no problem. It's in the part of its cycle where it's safe to be around.
I also imagine the shock of like, the last time this lady was here, she was a fire genasi. What the fuck happened?
It might not be the same guard. It's the same like corp of guard, core of guards.
Yeah.
But it's not the probably not the same one. It might be one who looks at you and goes like, "What the fuck?" Anyways,
If the Cosmos lady comes up to me and says she wants the egg, I'm giving her the egg.
yeah, basically, the island is a good indication of who you are, though, so you're good. Yeah, you go up to the egg. For a while, Leo just kind of circles around it. Well, I think I could open up a portal big enough to. Well, just drop it through. Do you mind if I borrow some power from you?
And she'll hold out her hand.
You'll take your hand. It's searing to the touch, but not a problem for you. And you see as he holds up a tuning fork, and a chained portal opens beneath the egg, and it just falls right through. There's a moment as the portal is about to close where Esther, you hear in your mind, "Thank you."
Out of curiosity, does anything happen? Does she lose the boon of the phoenix? Because I remember he had said it's like you'll get something different when I release you, or when I'm back home, kind of idea. I'm just curious. This is as a player.
Yep.
Esther doesn't care.
You don't notice anything immediately. I'll say that for now.
Okay. Esther's just happy to have him home. Me as a player, I'm very curious.
Yes, we'll get there. Don't worry. All right. So, I'd say for now that's where the day can end for the party, unless anyone else has anything else they want to add. All right. So, we're gonna move on to the time frames now. At the end of the first day, a lot of the just governmental folks begin to kind of trickle outwards now that the threat is functionally handled, at least what the conversation was originally about. There's essentially plans of treating the island as a go-between. More progress will be made, but there's a sense of wanting to go check on things, as all of the very magically attuned folks, sensing the kind of oddities in the plane, and how things have changed just a little bit, seem to mostly want to go home to see what's going on and make sure everyone's okay. Each of you probably get a series of messages from various magical folks of like little updates, nothing concerning, but it's a lot of news you guys are, I imagine, likely choosing to ignore for the most part. As the day ends, there's a offer for a feast from your standard island residents, as well as the Leo and Capricorn who elected to stay behind for at least the night.
Oh yeah, feast.
The feast is had. It's not subdued in the slightest, because dwarves, when dwarves party, they party.
I want to see if Irvis drink them all under the table again.
Unfortunately, there's no booze on the island.
Damn, we gotta work on that.
So, on the 1 week time frame, I assume you guys would like to handle the core.
Yeah, I'm presuming.
Mm-hmm.
I also need to return my dad to where he's supposed to be, so we can drop off the catnap potions at the same time on the way down to the core, if that works for everybody.
Yep. Totally.
So,
You guys are up to uncle, so small trip.
Scepter of Anther,
Yeah.
Duke of Anther, catnap potions of Anther, back down to Anther.
Yep. There was a conversation of, oh, is this a good time to bring on more refugees or no? And that can be handled regardless. It's in the background. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you
think
guys
Esther's dad is gonna leave.
I will say, within some point in the week, he just disappears.
Does he say goodbye?
He says goodbye in like a. You're not sure if he was saying goodnight or goodbye. And then just the next day, he's not there. But
Alright.
there's like a note. There's a note in his room of like, oh, by the way, Xenia, your food's great. That's it.
Cool.
I know.
But you guys make your way to the core.
Wait,
And
are we in Anther?
You'll briefly be Anther, yeah.
Can I do the thing with the chef lady?
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go. I was wondering. So as you
Oh,
pause
the
by Anther,
showdown.
presumably you're stopping long enough to get a quick meal. There's one of the doors to the kitchen's open, and like a wave of like frostbitten air comes out, and around the corner steps that 4'8" gnarled old woman holding the spoon.
Not
No,
nah.
she doesn't. And there's just eyes lock with you, Xenia.
Xenia takes their shirt off.
So okay. Do you have an undershirt?
No.
She walks back into the kitchen.
Xenia puts on an apron.
There we go. Better not cook bacon because that shit hurts on the shirt. She walks back out and hands you a spoon and just goes, "So you've learned, you've improved."
I'm ready.
Are you?
Yes.
She's gonna roll an insight check.
Okay.
The eyes narrow.
I'm gonna roll just pure persuasion.
Go for it.
I clicked.
Oh no.
Spat out my
I'm
coffee.
not lying.
She knows.
Like,
Says, I'll let you choose the meal.
It's like choosing a
That is
weapon.
that is the only kindness you will receive.
Xenia puts their head down. The apple.
There's a moment of like there's like the shot where it's just like a sliver and it's just the eyes and then your eyes, kind of like right for like a gym battle in Pokemon Diamond. So you have chosen death. No.
You're challenging her to her own playing field?
I need you to
Dude.
realize this is the Cynthia fight.
And I have
Xenia,
I have Guarantina.
what are you doing to assist yourself with this?
I have the knife from Tor.
All right.
I have my guidance. And I have
Have-
feint points.
All right.
Xenia has been practicing in every free moment they have these past 2 days.
Okay.
Might I request divine intervention?
It hasn't been a week.
Damn!
Coralon's like, no, I got you, fam. Go ahead and roll. Oh, you don't need to roll. It just works, right?
Ash will cast haste on you.
It hasn't been a week, Conrad.
I'm willing to hand wave that if you'd want to.
I still want to roll it.
Okay.
Like, I still want to roll it, but, like, if Coralon wants to give that little push, I'm not arguing with it.
Ash,
We'll see. Go ahead, Ashley. Haste.
Ash wants to cast haste.
I'll say it counts for like a +2.
Okay.
We'll see the roll first, and we'll see if you want to use divine intervention. How about that?
I have, yes. I have my
Alright,
feint
so-
for advantage.
Mhm.
I have Tor's knife, so I have my bonus.
Okay.
And I have my guidance.
And you have a
+2 for
+2.
haste. Alright.
Go ahead. Go ahead and roll. Okay.
41.
46?
45. 45.
All right.
Please tell me they beat Nona.
I'm just gonna let you see the number because I want you to enjoy this.
She probably I don't know if I have a better modifier than her or not. I think I may have a better modifier. Last time I checked.
Oh, that
I do have a better modifier than her.
You
Yes, you
fucking
do.
got her.
the guidance did it.
Yep.
There,
Guidance did it.
the guidance, and the haste.
I would have beat her just with my roll and the haste.
Mhm.
Even a nat 20, I would have beat her.
Yep.
That's true.
But the guidance is the
Beats it.
flourish.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
The guidance is the stay down on the ground.
And the haste is just to impress.
Xenia looks up and just goes to in their head to Coralon. I don't need a god when I cook.
Xenia,
Oh my
the final
God.
question. How do you want to do this?
Let's
Oh, yeah, my god.
I assume we have the evening off to have dinner there and everything, right?
Totally.
And Rosalind, may I use you for a little bit?
Yeah.
No, you need to do the three
The,
judges, and then the three.
Well, it's Rosalind's dish. It's Rosalind's favorite dish.
Yes.
So it's like the
I
thing
mean-
of 2 plates slide towards it.
What I offer.
Yes.
The 3 judges are Samseer, exhausted,
Yes.
but having a catnap potion.
Hmm.
So in a great mood. The Duke and Rosalind.
Yes.
We need to put a warning label on those catnip potions so Sam Seer doesn't accidentally OD.
Samseer would ignore it. It's fine.
Oh lord.
Yeah.
You
Or
can
we
put
have
the label inside of the monster can. Doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the three apple pastries are put on the table. The entire most of Anther is packed into this. By the way, watching this. The smells coming out of that
Just
kitchen.
like an episode of Top Chef, just like crap.
The smells coming out of that kitchen could have charmed deities. That's not a joke, by the way. Most of Anther is watching this in anticipation.
Yes.
Nice, good job.
At first, everyone digs into the meal, and there's this moment where they first dig into Chef, digging to hers first, as she is given priority in the situation, as you got to pick the dish.
Mhm.
The knife, like, glides through the first layer of the pastries, and just this aroma comes out. Ashton, you're like 100 feet away, and you're watering. Your mouth is watering. You're pretty sure you can hear the volcanic core rumbling beneath the earth. And the three judges all bite into it. Rosalind, this is the fucking tastiest thing you've ever goddamn eaten in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't last more than like 10 seconds, her pastry. And Samsir gives you this look of pity for a second, Xenia, from across the room. And like cut into Xenia's. Xenia, all of a sudden, you don't remember putting 4 plates on the table. No one else seems to be reacting to it. But you do see a elvish figure with this like silver hair sitting there, biting into yours, and gives you a smile. A nod. You don't need my help. You're right. Rosalind, what is your reaction to a super deity level pastry?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Tears.
She burst into tears.
What else can a mortal do?
You thought you felt the maximum like level of emotion from Rosalind when you proposed. This shit is
Rosalind
like
proposed. He
yeah,
accepted.
sorry, when Rosalind proposed. Sorry, my mistake. Yes.
Ashta fucking runs away and hides in a room because he knows he's going to be feeling everything Rosalind's feeling.
Yep. You are feeling nothing but bliss. There's nostalgia. It's bringing a tear to your eye. You're pretty sure Rayla is crying.
Mm.
And just before like they even finish the pastry, your mouth's still full. Samsir holds up the sign for Xenia as a winner. The Duke holds up the sign for the cook as the winner. Rosalind, who do you hold up?
Xenia.
The cheers that erupt.
And a Fane point over to Xenia just to say, this isn't bias. This isn't because you are my friend. This is because this is the most fantastic thing I have ever eaten.
I'll expect more of it.
And Xenia, as your eyes meet with the cook, she looks at you. She just nods. She walks up to you. And she hands her spoon.
Is it a wooden spoon?
It's a wooden
please
spoon.
be.
There is nothing magical about the spoon.
It's just a wooden spoon!
It's just a spoon.
Dude, that is the most magical spoon. How the fuck dare you?
Xenia salutes her.
Rosalind,
She-
through immense force of will and effort, saves half the pastry and takes it with her to go find Ashta.
I would like you to roll a wisdom saving throw to see if you can force yourself to do so.
I just want to do it. I want him to have some of this. This is not a... I just want her to do it.
Alright. I will ask also. Did you just cook the 3 dishes, Xenia?
Oh no.
Okay. Just want to put that out there too.
She's still gonna go share.
Of course.
Okay.
The best
Actually,
one.
Oh, good.
The best one was the one on Rosalind's plate.
Oh, of course. Of course.
The crown jewel.
Absolutely.
Wait, does that mean that
Rosalind,
we
you
get to
find-
have some?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rosalind. Sorry, Ashton, how does Rosalind find you?
Curled up into a ball in some closet.
Just open the door, knock knock on it. I saved you some.
Face hurts.
I'll
Like,
have some
he-
of
he
this.
puts his
Maybe
head
you'll
up.
feel better.
He puts his head up, and you can see him physically trying to pull his face muscles down out of a smile. Not used to this.
Just go over and just take hand, gently push up cheek a little bit. Don't fight it. I love your smile.
This feels like I'm fighting a god, and it's giving me more power.
It's just me here. Don't worry, you're not going to lose anything by giving in.
Ashton,
Cloak.
you can sense Aurelia climbing out of your pockets, trying to be stealthy.
There's a banishment.
Wait, won't you go back to the Feywild if you?
If I keep concentration for it, he banishes her for like 20
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Ashton, how many bites does the pastry last?
He shares it with Rosalind. I know you brought this for me, but it's still you are the cause of this, for better or worse.
I think we should have Xenia make this for, well, whatever meal or feast might follow. We need to make arrangements at some point.
Ah, stop! My face keeps
Cheek cramp!
Stop making me happy! Ouch!
No!
I like to imagine
I
massive
enjoy
concentration
it
breaks.
too much.
Shit! He goes to grab the fairy, probably flies out of his grasp.
There's like a single crumb in her hand, like, I win, you lose! So, a meal of the gods is had. There's a quiet request in your dreams that night, Esther, that Thoth requests you write down the description of that meal, just for his sake.
Yeah. Gareel the entire time. Like, Esther's kind of like looking between Gareel and Xenia, the pride she's feeling for Xenia, and Gareel's just kind of like, no, fuck off. I'm not gonna ask right now.
Yeah, basically. Alright.
Xenia is like the equivalent of like the fucking Thanksgiving dinner, and a bunch of gods are the fucking like younger generation asking to bring food home.
I like to imagine there's a Last Supper style portion of this in the future. Of this singular event.
Something apple of Eden.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so, before we go handle the core, let's take a quick 2 minutes, because there will be one more thing before the night ends of the feast.
Oh.
Two minutes. Wonder what it's going to be.
Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a drink.
That really played out like an anime, and I really like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just very occasionally, you need a little bit of anime in your D&D.
Deities were trying to obtain the recipe. So,
Devin, I'd have been more glad you got me to read Dorko.
Deities on that party principles. The cook rolled a 39.
Oh,
This guy's recounting in the background.
Yep. I kind of love that, I'm not gonna lie. That makes me feel very happy he's recounting immediately.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I felt like an anime character.
I'm glad. That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah, I felt your vibes with that, and I know you really like the Toriko vibes when it's like those two together, so I'm like, oh, I'm going.
I'm gonna be honest, like, if I could, like, isolate a single feeling to have given you, it's the feeling of beating Cynthia for the first time.
That's what it, like, half feels like.
Mhm.
Like, it feels like my grinding and leveling and sitting in victory road for hours and hours on end paid off.
Exactly.
6 months, because in 6 months, Esther's gonna find her. And in a year and a half,
Spoilers!
Esther's whole thing is
I should mute her, shouldn't I?
Yeah, mute her, spoilers.
launch.
The Cynthia music was just in my head.
Good.
Like, did you know I was gonna say the apples, or did you think I was gonna do something else?
I was leaving that entirely up to you. She would have had a slightly lower check if you picked something other than the apples, but I didn't think you would want that victory.
Oh no,
Earn that shit.
I have to earn that shit. That I was gonna refuse the divine intervention if I passed or failed.
Like I said, I was leaving that entirely up to your prerogative, just if you wanted to use it.
I appreciated the offer, but
Yep.
Cooking is senior.
Yes. And to clarify, that was absolutely Coralon eating that with you.
Oh yeah, silver hair though.
Yes.
That.
Remember, individual form.
Oh, I know, but that's very much similar visage to Moonbow.
It was intentional.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yep. I like to imagine every once in a while they have like the same like hairdresser, and it's just like a really good day.
They are married after all, so.
Yes. Well, yeah, but like some couples have like separate hairdressers. Like if they ever had got into a divorce, that would be part of like the papers having to separate like who gets the hairdresser. Like that's exactly what I'm imagining right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like who gets?
No,
Wait,
listen, I've known Larry the barber longer, and he gives me the better fate. You can't take Larry in the divorce.
it's the elven goddess of beauty. What's her
You
name?
can take the kids, but you can't take Larry.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Guy.
Take the kids.
Huh?
We could hear the spoilers.
Yeah, that's what I said for me to do. We heard you telling you,
I'm
Mermaid.
sorry.
Yeah,
I muted you. Don't worry.
Yeah, because we heard like you were talking about the Xenia stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then you're like, in 6 months, Esther, and I'm like, spoiler. I just
Yep, and I
started
muted you.
yelling spoilers.
Sorry, I didn't realize that it picked up so far. No, yeah, Anyways, I messaged Conrad.
We'll see. I just
So-
didn't want like any surprise being spoiled, so I just started yelling.
Yep, I appreciate you telling me though. I didn't notice it first.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a good surprise. Trust me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm prepared for it, but like I don't want anything being like.
Yep. And yeah, for reference, Sky, things like that, if you want them to happen, you can just tell me they happen when we get to that point.
Yeah, no, that's why I was asking for if there could be a 6-month landmark.
Yep. It'll probably be like a 1 year one. You can just say about 6 months in if you want.
That's cool. That's all I cared for.
All right. So, as the meal, is everyone good to go? All right. As the meal has been wrapped up and not a crumb is left in the palace, except for probably just like the last little bit that was being saved for people who like are on guard duty or something, essentially.
Xenia is saving a single one and just leaving it at Sammy's doorstep. Not knocking or anything, just putting it there.
Well, this is still Anther, by the way.
Oh, I know, but when they get up to the castle
Okay, good.
to start moving again.
There's a rumbling from outside the palisade doors. A lot of like whoops of like happiness and joy. One of those voices is real familiar.
Bad familiar or good familiar?
Good familiar.
Oh,
Purple familiar.
Uh-huh.
called it.
You did.
Seemingly enticed by the smell of apple and the illustrious meal that permeated like 8-kilometer radius, they seem to have run here as the entirety of Valor-Bound Wrestling marches into the door.
Not a good house show, boys! Let's get some food!
And guys, you walk in.
Let's go!
Something smells good, and you lock eyes. Your best friend's here.
Yes!
Yes! Yes!
Oh, hey, Great
Oh,
Boy's
man.
back.
Okay, you're back. Esther pushes Ashta towards Caius.
Hey, full price, bitch.
Fine! Just get me some food, please! Catering's been terrible the last couple weeks. I don't know what happened. We
But
care
guys-
to control it. I don't know, man.
Caius, your best
Guys.
friend.
Ashton is right there. You haven't seen him
Hey!
in so long.
He's gonna go up and give him a... Hey, buddy! How's it been?
Ash just looking around like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Oh no, you feel too much glee from Rosalind. You feel the glee of payoff.
Yeah,
You stumbled over.
Oh no, you know.
he's looking around. He's like, what? Is this like some sort of like weird joke where he there's like that little ping in the back of his head and there's just... And Rosalind, you get the feeling back of fucking course you did.
Buddy! What's going on?
Senior fans over Rosalind. Should we give him his memories back?
Rosalind feigns back to Xenia. Ash just figured me out.
Oh, we really need to give guys his memories fully back.
Going okay, pal.
No,
And
no,
you
leave
see-
it, leave it.
You see, Ashton, you see as Kai's family comes up and he goes, oh, he's here! We've heard so much about you, Ashta. It's been so long. Like, he keeps telling a story about how you saved him from a pack of wolves.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
How did he get there? Like, what? You killed him all with one crossbow bolt?
Hold on.
He's got to be exaggerating, right?
I'm looking.
Oh
for...
man,
I
I'm
found the
telling
gif.
you, I'm not.
I found the gif.
I'm.
There we go. Excellent use. By the way, you're immediately bear hugged by a bunch of wrestlers, Ashta.
Oh fuck.
Ashta falls over. Assuming he's still in contact with Caius.
Yep.
He's gonna go ahead. He's gonna just tap him on the shoulder. Cast a spell magic.
Isn't it a feign thing? It's not magic.
Is it a feint thing?
It's
It's
a
a
feign
feign
thing.
thing.
Okay, I thought it was modified memory. Never mind.
No.
You know, you got the spell magic goes. Remember, you don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You cast the spell magic. He's looking at you happy. He's like gleeful to see you.
There's a
He's
thing
like-
over Rosalind of like, fix your sins.
Fix your sins.
Starts
Rosalind-
cackling.
Rosalind just smiles at Caius and, not even making eye contact directly with Ashta, just says, oh, we have such wonderful news, too.
Don't.
Great.
A series of like muscled necks that turn your direction.
We haven't had time to... Well, we haven't quite set a date, but I did fully intend to create an invitation at some point.
You can
As,
see like the equations going around Caius's head.
Ashta
Bonus
and I-
action. Misty step towards Rosalind. Hand over the mouth.
We're getting married!
And every wrestler turns to look at Caius, lifts him in the air, and goes, "Best man!"
Listen. Listen. Wrestling weddings don't typically go well, but like I could be a pretty good best man. I could throw a pretty good bachelor party.
Please let him be the best man. Ashton, come on.
He's gone.
Ashton, no!
all right. The fun has been had, because I assume I can now speak because he's gone.
Yep. He's in the ethereal plane.
And
Ashton,
I will-
in the ethereal plane. Sorry, just real fast. Ashton, in the ethereal plane.
Mhm.
That tower of faces that have been constantly staring upon you. At the very top are the two faces of Ophiuchus now. Continue.
Oh.
He looks up. Finger guns.
In the
Anyways,
meantime,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ask my Fane. All right. I think we've had enough fun. Unless, I think we've had enough fun. Could you untangle the knots? I think it's safe now.
Sure, but it's going to take like a couple hours for him to fully remember them all. The memories will be there, but if he's not accessing them,
That's all right. Might as well
Right.
start the process.
right? Ashton pops back into existence as
In a
Caius.
different room.
Caius, you will now begin to recover memories as you go to remember things. It doesn't necessarily change your mind. But if you choose to remember things that you actually had occur, you can choose to remember those instead now. Up to you.
Like he's obviously telling stories about it, and then like, wait, that's a weird. Oh wait, that's not how that happened. What? Huh? He's a
No, you
storyteller,
also-
so he's accessing the memories currently.
Yeah, you told us one before. You said that when the two giants were holding you one arm each and trying to pull you in half, Ashta like disappeared in a flash of light and cut their hands off. Is that not how it went?
Huh?
There's a feign over to Caius from Ashta. Blame them.
As yeah, Caius, you
And
now
then,
have
and then
fame.
Caius just gives
Oh, that reminds
Rosalind
me.
and Xenia a look.
Yep, Caius, you now have Fane again too.
And he's gonna keep talking, but like in the back of his head, use his feign. What did you do to me?
To who?
Rosalind, probably.
Alright.
If you recall, you agreed. We thought it would be funny.
Jobbed me out at my own expense. Right.
Excellent.
I was serious
And I'm-
about the invitation, though.
That's nice, but oh god. Boys are gonna think I'm gonna be the best man, and they're gonna be real disappointed when I'm not.
I mean,
You have to understand, like, you put a kick me sign on his back, and he thought it was funny, like, a few months ago, and he's had a few months of getting kicked up until now. And you also removed the knowledge from him that he had a kick me sign on his back.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yep.
To be
Well, he still knows he had false memories.
To be quite
Yes.
fair, Anthurian wedding traditions don't actually involve a best man, though I know it's traditional, or at least something similar is traditional in other regions, so, well, easily enough smoothed over if there is no such position because of the format we'd be following, then.
Right.
We can talk. We can figure it out.
Anyway, I've
It-
got a show tomorrow if you guys want to come.
Of course, it's genuinely good to see you again, and I believe I owe you
Yeah.
one enchanted mask.
Ollie do.
And Caius. Oh, go ahead. No, I thought I was talking, sorry.
No.
And Caius, at one point, there's this weird, like, fire genasi kid who walks up to you, goes to introduce himself.
No, they've talked. They've talked before.
We talked.
Yeah.
But does Furvis know that the memories are fixed or no?
Oh.
Probably not.
So would Furvis not assume that Caius doesn't remember him?
Probably.
So, Furvis, Caius, you meet each other. Come on, Sam
Purvis.
Regal.
I think one
Dude,
of
He,
them.
he puts his hand out. Purvis puts his hand out. He's like, I don't believe we've met. And then Caius looks at him and is just like, we have, actually. And he puts a finger up to his head and tries to commingle with the kid.
Does he accept?
Okay, gotcha. And he does, yeah. You have your memories back then? More or less. They're coming back to me as I go along. The boys are asking me weird questions about stories I don't remember. It was probably a humorous thing. I thought it was funny in the moment, but, once again, future me has to deal with the shit the past me has to do. And
And
yeah,
now-
that's how that interaction goes. Fuck y'all.
And now in all moments, they simply talk in unison.
Yep. At all points in time from now on.
Oh, Caius.
Yeah?
There's somebody that I'd like you to meet. You had a
Yes.
brief introduction, but she's grown a little bit now, and Esther is going to introduce Caius to Jade.
Right. Hey.
He's so purple.
He is.
Guys, you feel your hair begin to like float as it's being like lifted up to be looked at. He's so
Oh,
pretty.
she's got mom's powers then.
Oh, she's something. she's,
As you see, there's like a series of floating like leftover pastries around her head.
Also, skin's weird.
Yeah, long story short, the astral is something else, and I suppose it's part of me now too.
Cease to amaze me then.
Thank you, Caius.
Cease to surprise me.
That's probably a better term for it. And do you want to hold her? And she'll gesture Jade to Caius.
Sure.
And she'll hand Jade to Caius.
Miss Jade kind of
Surprisingly
looks in
good
her hands.
kid.
Missy as Jade looks up to you, she goes, "Surprise!"
Hey.
All right. So, you guys can all catch up and, you know, have a night where you catch up. But Caius does eventually get to sleep. And Caius, I would like to ask, do you have one of your monologues ready for the wrestling show
Yes.
the next day?
Yes, I do.
So, as the wrestling show goes on in the morning, you finally get to have yours. Go for it.
Yes. So there is an in-ring promo. So basically, you guys are sitting in the crowd, and Caius is simply standing in the ring with, again, the equivalent of a microphone. So everyone can hear it.
Yep, thaumaturgy stick. It's fine.
You know, trainer Arn Snowshade, he once told me, always wrestle hurt, never wrestle injured. Had I known then what I know now, I would have offered this retort. What if the injury transcends the physical? What if the breaking of the body is secondary to the breaking of the spirit? So, imagine my shame. I lose the Intercontinental title under 3 minutes. Shameful, not even for my unique circumstance in which my name carries a legacy of gold, for the shame in the fact that I simply don't like to lose. Hellbound Wrestling has 4 major events, and this year have gone 0-3. Then receive a message that all wrestlers hope for but pretend we don't. The message to join an adventuring party. It's an opportunity, and I jump at it. I find myself rubbing shoulders with an extraordinary, and he looks over to where they're sitting. Extraordinary.
Jade has like 6 purple
Genasi
flags
mage.
floating around her.
Yeah. I find myself rubbing shoulders with an extraordinary Genasi mage. A man who is pound for pound, bolt for bolt, the greatest marksman to ever live. Master diplomat and one of the kindest souls I've ever met. A one-of-a-kind, second to none, peerless druid. I ask myself, who the hell am I? A man who lost his title in 3 minutes. While I kept my head up for the sake of my new friends, I kept my ear to the ground. I would hear the same traditional professional wrestling promo 101 pontification, people talking about being the future. There were even people talking about being the ace. Don't make me laugh, that ship has sailed. And as much as I'd love to push the idea further that honored distinction belongs to me, it doesn't. That can only belong to one of 3 people. The Ironheart, the women's champ, Gracewell Bishop, the world's champion, the best wrestler in the world for 391 days, Jericho Gallows Peak, or the man holding the ace belt himself, Kushida Kingstream. Speaking of Mr. Kingstream, he had issued a challenge to me a week ago. A 3 stages of hell match. First match, a standard wrestling match. After that, a street fight. And finally, an I Quit match, with the added stipulation that the loser leaves the company. Do I accept? Well, that's simple. The optics in wrestling are very important. The optics of a match that unsafe, of a match that violent, of a match that bloody. My answer is no. And he begins to walk up the ramp before immediately jolting back into the ring. No, as in no regrets. No, as in no looking back. You and I enter much different than we leave. Intercontinental title next week. 3 stages of hell. I accept!
And the crowd goes fucking crazy. Go ahead and roll a performance check if you have Kai's sheet open. If not, it's alright. But with that, the crowd in Anther is cheering your name. Jade is not the loudest, but somehow always heard. And I imagine from there, the wrestling goes on as the other matches of the day. have their time. But as that ends and the event finishes, Kais, do you join them to the journey to the volcanic core?
Sure. Fuck it. Go
For
double
all
duty.
time's sake.
Go double duty, even though Caius is nowhere near their level.
Nope.
Oh. Nowhere near it.
Xenia just makes more Revivify coins.
Understandable,
Yeah.
good choice.
9 levels under level.
Jade, is hovering constantly around you, by the way, Caius. You have found a new #1 fan. This kid loves you.
Some pretty good uncles, though.
Oh, yeah. She's just like, oh, you can fight, but for fun?
Oh god.
I can cause damage and not get in trouble?
You explode heads. You explode heads.
Oh god,
Yeah,
oh god,
maybe
oh god.
needs to.
What?
Yeah. Esther will, casually kind of mention to Caius, oh, yeah, she exploded some eardrums, and then, the head snap of,
Alright. So, does anyone else have any things to do in the 1 week time frame before the volcanic core?
Service still has to go to the university.
Yep, that's in the same city as the core, so we're gonna get to that.
Cool.
Astro wants to figure out and find someone who can figure out, because he probably can't do it on his own, what the hell's going on with the materials.
Alright. You basically have the option of Orzur or Samsir can take their first look at it. They're probably the two best to start with.
Is Orzur nearby? Because otherwise Samsir would be the closest, right?
He would have headed home. So yes, Samsir would be closer.
Okay, yeah, then start with Samsir.
Okay.
But while that is happening, send a feint over to Orzur, like, hey, I need to ask you to look into this at a point. Don't got to be right now, but if you've got any books you want to pull out beforehand, kind of thing.
Okay. Do you want Samsir's initial impressions, or do you want to wait till it's actually concrete stuff there?
I'd prefer concrete, just for in the interest of time. Best theory any of them can give, kind of thing.
Okay. The initial kind of 1 day analysis you get after based on a sending spell the next day, is that this is an artifact that creation is essentially unknown. It's of a metal that is completely unfamiliar to Samsir and to legend lore and to any spell that they can think up. It is not just resonant with magic, but resonant with probably with Fane. You'd be able to at least get the idea of that. And what they are able to find out is that essentially this didn't used to be a corrupted weapon. Before then, it was just a weapon made of indescribable material that could cut through practically anything alive. And most things that are inorganic and dead, of course, as well. And once it resonated with some negative, what Samsung describes like negative energy plane stuff, but you might recognize a bit more as Ix. Essentially, it turned it into essentially a negative pressure system of a blade, where the consciousness, soul, being of a person just falls into it if the blade cuts it, like a dam being burst. And that there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of creatures inside of it.
Oh, jolly good.
Samsur is not confident that at least a short-term set of enchanting or anything would make this better, because this is an artifact. It is old magic.
Can Astro check in with the bird lady?
Monarch?
Yep.
The Monarch, kind of upon hearing this, essentially describes that there was a famous sort of Gith It was thought to have been what freed the Gith, like the collective Gith before they were separated, from the Mind Flayers. It was the weapon that was able to cut through the mental slavery that it caused, that a number of Gith allowed a piece of their minds to be given into the forging and the use of this weapon, and that with that piece gone, they could no longer be under the direct control of Mind Flayers. What's happened since then is speculative. Theoretically, once the original Ophiuchus, the pair of them, passed, it should have become just a inert in its power. It's still powerful, still ancient, still magical. But it's corrupt. That's what they do. And assumedly with whatever happened with Gith after, that turned them terrible, that gave them Ix rather than Fane, if they even had Fane to start with, just did something horrible to this weapon that was a piece of them.
Okay. We still have that shard of Ix that can be purified into Whitefire, right?
Oh yeah.
Could Ashta check with the Monarch to see if she thinks that would work as a way to purify this weapon and basically introduce a more positive pressure into the inside of it so it's no longer a void?
Yes, the Monarch recommends you take your time with it. Don't try to do that all at once.
Yeah, reasonable, just if that's conceivably possible.
It is. It would take if not a lot of time, a fantastic amount of power. You'd essentially be trying to reverse flow of the level of power that Gith put into that weapon, which is a lot. So, taking time with it, a couple decades at least, to be safe. Theoretically, it's possible.
Okay.
You basically have to keep storing mental energy, Fane points that you don't use, good intentions, anything you can to think to resist Ix just constantly over the course of a long period of time. And attuning to it is probably the easiest way to do that.
Can he do anything with his Purify on that front as well? Because he conceivably, overpowered, with the help of everyone else, the Ix that leaked out of Gith when it was in Roslyn.
Yeah, and theoretically, yes. The reason the Monarch recommends doing it slowly is because that's the safer option. You could purify. They're uncertain of what that danger might bring to you.
Fair enough. And he also wants to, out of concern, make sure the things that are in it can slowly seep out.
The minds and the souls and the beings? Possibly, maybe. You're not sure what they are at this point.
Okay. Well, it's more so if there's any what happened to Aquarius.
Aquarius was a bit easier because that was less than a day, and the entirety of Aquarius went in there. There are some things that are their full beings in there. There are some things that are pieces of people. So what happens to them is kind of up in the air. The full-size people, you might be able to if you can find their names essentially and the stuff like that. But it will take a lot of time and a lot of research to find that information first. That would be the first step to that.
Okay. Last part of it, does Essence have anything to do with it? Because there's an implied dichotomy when we first saw the thing.
Essence is a craft of a similar thing. Looking into Essence and taking the time, if you bring that up to, and this is over time, to Samsir or Urzur, there is a piece of that same metal in Essence that always appears with whatever weapon she turns into. That seems to be what's housing her soul and what's keeping her as she is. Theoretically, if you could release Essence, that might be the first step to learning how to release the people in there.
Okay.
And that might be why Essence was able to take the Fane in the first place.
Alrighty. Alright, yep, that'll be a long-term project.
Yep. I can't believe you put Fane in her right before that final fight. That was such... I was so happy you did that. I was so happy that, Nope would have, precedent.
Okay.
Oh, God. What got quoted? Ah, there we go. Alright. So, On your way to the core. From this point on, we're going to be mostly doing just narration and explanation. As we probably shouldn't be here until 4 a.m. I would do it. I don't think you guys would want that.
Are we doing one epilogue session?
I'm going to try to, at least. A lot of stuff can be answered in the chat if needed, I feel like. But for an actual full session to sit down, I want to do it all in one.
Sounds good.
With the core. It's a battle, I'll say that outright. It's a multi-step process of getting the core to first essentially release and then contain Eric. First, I'm going to say, again, the university is evacuated until the core is fixed, so we're going to save the university until after, if that's alright with you.
Ooh, sounds good.
Alright. So, over the course of a couple days, you guys essentially dismantle the core and send it back to the plane of fire in esoteric elemental pieces, essentially. And a big part of that is because when you first come into contact with the core, Esther, you are filled with the might of the Phoenix. And for that fight and that interaction with the core, you're essentially able to open up a conduit to send pieces of it directly as you touch it, like you're pulling chunks of this thing apart and just disappearing them back into the plane it comes from. And you seem to have this aura that absorbs the radiant energy of the core, essentially, that would normally be so destructive around you. Essentially, you notice that for a short period of time, you could essentially consider Esther an elder elemental for a small window of time.
I don't get to keep it? Damn, that would have been funny.
No, you do not get to keep it. And as that last piece of the core is left, and I imagine Leo steps in to close that conduit with that chain portal he's able to make, you see the carbonite, actually, basically, form of Eric fall out of the chest of the core. And still floating in magma, but conceivable to get out, at least. And it's a process. It takes some time. It takes a bit of finicky magic to get the body out of there, essentially. And as soon as it comes to the surface, and you guys are at the caldera. Sorry, hiccups. The caldera of the volcano. There's this hiss, and the carbonite thing cracks. And this, blazing heat comes out. Eric doesn't immediately come out. But he's currently accessible. Are you guys trying to do anything fancy to help him get out, or are you just going to let it kind of happen?
Heal him?
Fuck with the magic he's got going on right now.
Let him get out.
Okay.
I was gonna say maybe heal him.
We'll heal him a little bit.
Okay. He comes out swinging. As in his mind, he's still in the middle of a fight.
That's understandable.
The form he comes out at isn't just Eric the dwarf that you met. He is wearing this armor that looks like kind of like those like a wedding dress if it was made entirely of black iron chains.
Oh, hell yeah!
And just hanging off his body as he is glowing with molten lava and lead, hanging off his body, and he's breathing heavy. He's swinging his mace, and there's you're pretty sure there's tiny earthquakes happening every time his mace hits the ground because he misses something. As you guys all back up and dodge away. And this he kind of stops and looks around at you guys. Goes, "What the fuck happened?"
Pulled you out, dumbass.
You were stuck inside of the core, but you kept it chained, and you don't look too bad. In all honesty,
how am I out of here?
We kicked it back.
What the fuck did you scrawny little? And it goes from there. Because last time he saw you guys were level 6.
Yep.
Esther just grins.
You are, of course, very welcome.
Thank you. And he looks at each of you and goes,
It's been a little while.
How
It helps.
He locks eyes with you, Ashta, and looks at your armor. What the fuck is that?
Got it from customer service.
I would like you to roll a dexterity saving throw, Ashton.
You'd have advantage if Roslyn.
Yeah.
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 32.
You dodge, and as an anvil drops out of the sky right where you were standing.
So it doesn't help to be friends with a phoenix.
He jumps aside and is like, "Alright, buddy, what was that?"
That was me smiting you. I don't appreciate the cheek, young man.
Get fucked, son.
I don't appreciate the anvil, old man. It's a blessing
guess
from your
we-
god.
I guess we're even, aren't we? What do you mean it's a... Pauses. Oh, fuck, it is.
How about you fucking talk to him first?
It's been a stressful couple...
Yeah,
How
us
long is it?
too. Been a while.
How long's it been?
Enough that
Couple
the
of-
Zodiacs aren't a problem anymore, old man.
Couple
Because
of
the
months.
Zodiac!
That's
Oh.
what dropped that thing there.
Yeah, because he got dropped in there before the Zodiacs were fully a thing.
Yep, yeah, yeah. We killed the one who put the volcanic core there.
And I appreciate that. Where is everybody?
Evacuate.
Because of the volcanic core.
That's probably a good choice.
Just, do you need a message spell or what?
I need a fucking drink. I also need to go check to see how backed up my orders are. As he,
Oh,
he starts like clanging towards university with the chains dragging behind him.
Don't
You
think
might want to
anyone's
lift
been
up
there
your
in like a month, old man.
you might want to hem your skirt. I'm just saying. You're going to trip.
Ashta and Esther roll a dexterity saving throw.
I get advantage because
Nice
I'm
try,
the moon
fuckhead.
of the phoenix right now.
No, that's gone.
Oh. Oh.
You get a lead chain smacking you on the chin. It fucking hurts.
Got some new material.
Gods be with you.
Oh, speaking of which, I
Thank
need you to
you.
look at a sword later.
I'll think about it. Wait. Turns back to you. Sniffs the air. Starts walking back towards you guys at a much faster pace. What the fuck are you holding?
Go get a drink, old man. I'll
Priorities.
catch you up later.
No, priorities. You see him pull out from like a bag of holding on his side, like this like lead mug, dips it into like the magma beneath him, and just starts drinking of it. What the fuck do you have?
I don't know, it's like nth metal or something.
What the? Oh my god! He just like takes it. You haven't cut anyone with this, have you?
No.
Good. Be terribly unethical.
Someone did get cut by it, though, but we brought them back.
I'm gonna need to speak to them to see if their identity is still in one piece.
Well, Xenia brought them back, in all complete and utter honesty, because Xenia is rather brilliant, I'll be completely fair.
I'm kind of impressed you could even bring someone back, Xenia. Well done.
Yeah, I'm
This-
a cleric now. What do you think?
Oh, me too. Congratulations.
Hmm.
It's nice, eh?
Yeah, I can bring Esther back to life now when she does.
Oh, good. That was such a hassle last time.
Look,
I'm
look,
glad you're here, but
you got paid, okay? You got paid.
I want the scene to end there.
that's where it's ending.
Just look.
Hear me out.
Listen here, you little shit. No,
Thank-
the scene ends there. So, I will say, with the combined effort of your guys' knowledge, Orzer, Samsir, and Eric, over the course of the next year, there's a lot of work put into that sword. Just trying to figure out what the fuck it is. And at the end of the year, there will be a follow-up. But we're now going to move on to the 1-year time frame. At this point... Actually, sorry, no, before we do that, Fervis, when the university unevacuates.
Re-evacuates, if you would.
Vacuums.
Evacuate.
Doesn't evacuate also mean to empty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Repopulates, perhaps.
Sure.
Pressurize.
Replenishes.
Either way, pick your verb of choice.
Okay.
So the
Awesome.
university is repopulated about a week later. Fervis, what are you looking to do there?
He's gonna show the Philosopher's Stone to the professors there.
Oh my god.
She throws something at your head. Just
Conrad, why is every high-level NPC's reaction to something we do that's above their pay grade to throw something at us?
They're angered because they haven't done it
What's
first.
wrong with you, lady?
Ashta, I want you, who shoots first and looks later, to ask me that question again, with your chest this time.
Go with your chest.
Most of these guys at one point were part of an adventuring party. And the shit they did took years to get to where they are. You guys did this in a matter of like a year.
4 months.
You just staying on that grind.
Get
Like
wrecked
we are.
worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Because they're furious that you managed to do that shit.
Rip, but I'm different.
This
Exactly.
is what happens when you let a bunch of
but we're built different.
This is what happens when a bunch of people with ADHD hyper focus on something all at the same time.
Yeah, and they get aliens in your brain. It makes you better at it too.
You got
Um,
knees!
Yep. Yeah, no, you guys are essentially a group of those 13-year-olds who all have master's degrees, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as she just looks at you and Fervus throws it at your head, and you start yelling at her, she means just like big hug. She's like, "How the hell? What that thing is capable of, right?
Yes.
You realize that's almost as dangerous as that core was, right?
Yes.
I'm so proud of you, but please never make another one.
I don't think I'm capable of making another one.
That's probably a good thing. That could kill a lot of people, but also, I think I figured out how your catnap potion works, and I have so many questions as to what the fuck a Fane is. Those
Long
Firebirds.
story.
Can you get me to talk to a Firebird, by the way?
Sure.
Good. Also, I had one last question for you. Would you like to work on an official, project alongside me? Good. I have a few, I've been looking for a colleague as opposed to a student to help me out with this. She offers her hand to you. I presume Fervus shakes it? Alright. So, if you choose to pursue that path, she's essentially doing a big research project on basically what the Fane are on a cosmological scale, and also how the hell they exist, essentially. Which, yeah, she uses you as a great repository of research for that, because she is fascinated by them. So that will go on as long as you choose to pursue it, essentially. She'll if you choose to pursue it for X amount of years, she basically will live for another 70 or so years, if you want to go that whole time. But
Does this put him in like a professor capacity as well?
essentially, you can basically choose to be a professor at this point if you want to. You're at least you're offered tenure, I promise you.
He's the second one in the party.
Yeah.
To get offered tenure.
It probably is the second youngest out to be.
Who's the first one who got offered?
Me!
Right, that's right!
Oh man. But with that, we will proceed to the 1-year timescale. Do you guys want to just go whoever goes first, or should I pick people?
Up to you, bro.
You.
Alright.
If you want to just pick.
Let's go. That's me. That's me again.
Move it down in the
Oh my
line.
god.
There we go. Grumble. Ashta. 1-year timescale.
Training the dog.
Alright. He grows up to be a fantastic wolfhound.
He loves him very much.
He's very big now.
Little guy will destroy a lot.
He is very big now.
Asha is toning it down about 20%. No more.
No less. Does he allow booze on the island?
Maybe less. He would, but not if you're working.
Fair. The dwarves throw a celebration on just that day.
Oh my god.
They petition to turn it into a holiday.
I was just about to say that's a holiday on the island now.
Yeah.
And
At very least an informal one.
yep, and if possible, because I know Xenia has a thing slightly planned. I don't know how early that would be though.
Later on, but if you want to say your thing now, you can.
If in the future, there is the potential for more non-alcoholic options on the island, those are in greater supply, if possible.
Totally. And you could even have the island with the stuff that Xenia has planned. There's definitely some fun varieties that could be created.
He's not
Especially-
getting involved in it, he's just kind of
No, I know.
hand-waving.
Yeah. Alright, anything else for the 1 year time frame?
I assume Ariel getting hitched?
Yep, that's somewhere
That's
in the
around
1 year time frame is them actually planning their wedding and getting hitched.
Alright. Do you guys want to do a quick description of the wedding? We'll start with that.
I think it takes place on the island, and I think it's a weird fusion of like northern bonfire culture and like Midlands with like the flowers and the walk together and all that. There's a cultural mesh going on there.
Yes. And everyone is so fucking happy about it too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Xenia is requested to do the entire menu.
Xenia immediately also. Is Xenia officiating? Because I think.
If they would like, I can't remember. Okay, yeah, officiant in the Anther, in like the Midland style thing, can be like any leader. It could be a druid, it could sometimes be a cleric, so yeah, Xenia would qualify on just about every count to one of them, like, in hindsight, but...
Xenia 100% slips in a joke that you guys have actually been married for months because of what happened in the Astroplane.
Oh my god.
I like to imagine that's the wedding toast afterwards.
Xenia gets banished for 20 seconds.
I have a charisma.
Roll a save.
I have a charisma. Okay, 1 second.
DC 20.
It's hard to ban.
32.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
You rolled a 19. I had...
Wait, are you gonna do the thing where like the wolf pup brings in the rings?
No, because there is no rings tradition in either of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cultures are weird.
Yeah. The rings are part of the engagement, so they've already been exchanged. All that's
However,
exchanged in this is vows, and they, I think, they have a big central bonfire. Which is from the
Duggo
north.
will bring firewood for.
Yes. And, yeah, I think that they also do the thing where from that central bonfire, which is kept lit throughout the celebration and guarded by the equivalent of a best man to make sure it doesn't go out, like ceremonial duty. At the end of the celebration, they take a couple of lanterns and light them from that fire and take them back to their rooms.
Also, there might be the fight of the position of like the fire bearer best man between Carson and Caius.
Who wins?
I don't know. They both do it. I don't know.
Yeah, they can take turns.
Can't exactly fight about it.
Yep,
Yeah,
just
no.
checking on one of the sheets right now. Hold on. Xenia, are you doing the thing for number 8 on short term?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that case, go ahead and explain it.
Ashta,
Mhm.
Xenia gives you your wedding gift a couple days early.
Ah!
Because in the past couple months, as you guys have been preparing and doing wedding preparation, Xenia has been doing their research. And just in case you didn't want to be emotional at the ceremony, Xenia reintroduces you to your 3 fallen members of your old squad 2 days before the wedding.
Yeah.
They're alive.
Boy cries.
They are whole. They're very confused, but very happy to see you. There's a pause when they first see you before all the emotions fully process. as when they ostensibly left, you were a bright, happy young kid. And they see you now, they can see the turmoil. There's something that's horribly wronged you, but there's still that light in Ashta
Well,
that they recognize. And when Joker, no, sorry, Joker Carson.
Joker's cousin.
Yeah, sorry. What's the other one's name? The lady.
Sharvan.
Sharvan. As she kind of like takes a step forward first, and like hands on your shoulders, just Ashta? Is that you?
Yep.
You made it out.
Thanks to you idiots.
You were always the best of us.
Shut
Couldn't let the light
up.
go out.
Shut up. He just starts crying.
And there's you don't need me to describe it. It's emotional.
Yeah. It is full Ghibli tears.
Yep. And it takes some time for them to fully process too. But at the wedding, I like to imagine there's a little table just by the fireside with Carson, where they're all discussing and reminiscing together. And there's always a place left for Ashta, even when he walks away for a bit.
And just small catch-ups of, I killed some gods, Carson's a fucking criminal.
They believe you on the second one, not the first one. And does anyone else have a gift as a note for the wedding?
I do.
Go ahead.
So Esther approaches both Rosalind and Ashta when they're together. And she's got 2 packages in her hand. They're both wrapped in basically this very like nice white cloth, and she hands them to each of you. And which one of you opens it first?
Probably at the same time.
Yeah, hold it between
Okay.
them and open.
In that case, Rosalind, you open it to find a red skirt. It is cinched at the waist with an orange braided rope. And if you ask Esther to explain, she will explain that each of the garments you hold in your hands are one of the traditional garments that Genasi wear when they are soul bonded. And she explains that since you have already, in a sense, been soul bonded, you each, though the garments themselves are very hard to obtain because they are usually passed down from soul bonded couples, because it is so rare in Genasi culture for people to actually go through with it. She was able to, with the help of some elders, craft these on her own and with the help of them from memory and those sorts of things. And Rosalind, yours symbolizes passion, courage, and strength, as well as motivation and excitement. Ashta, in your package, there is a blue shawl that is usually draped over the head of the individual. And it symbolizes trust, tranquility, loyalty, also responsibility and integrity to oneself and their friends. And within those 2 garments, there is a small circular piece of metal emblazoned with each other's names. And she smiles and she hugs you both. And she just tells you how proud she is of both of you.
There's hugs back, but I can't guarantee those will be worn for the wedding because Anther has particular colors. Not
No, this is
like
after.
thing. Okay.
This is after.
Okay.
This is after the
Yes,
wedding.
yes, yes,
This
yes.
is after the wedding.
Okay.
Yeah,
They'll wear
there's
it the
also
day after.
Caius also has gifts.
Okay.
This is after the wedding. Obviously, this is just more so something she's never seen soul bonding outside of Genasi culture.
Mhm.
This is something that she wanted to give, in a sense, to show that even though it didn't necessarily happen in the way that she's grown up with, it is still something and a sight to behold. that these garments represent your love for one another and the fact that you will be tied together for all eternity.
All right. Good luck following that one up, John.
Yeah, my Caius's aren't nearly as profound. He's like, well, shit.
He waits like a couple hours afterwards to like let them simmer down from that.
Yeah. He basically went to after he found out about it, he immediately went to his person who makes Valbound Wrestling's title belts. And he had them create a commemorative Ashta and Rosalind tag team championship belts, essentially.
So fucking on brand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what the fuck?
It's so cute. I love it.
They're the
Is it-
ultimate.
He had them. He paid as much as needed be. Just like really set him back quite a bit for his own goals, but he basically made them as nice as possible. And he handed them to after a couple hours after the ceremony and after Esther had blown him out of the water with the gift. He basically handed them to him. It's just like, I know a thing or two about being a team, feeling, etc. Having a special bond with someone. So, that said, will always be champions in my eyes, and he hands them the championship belts.
If possible, they could perhaps hug him in sync,
Yeah.
and then in a coordinated effort, Asha puts him in a headlock and Rosalind trips him
Oh no.
and pin him down.
Because their love is stronger than any tag team you can imagine.
Persuade her on that
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Mikhail comes over, counts, does the 3 count. 1, 2.
Finds it like that one referee, just like that one, like across the board.
Yeah. Stomach slide the
let me
whole
find
floor.
Give me Charles Robinson wanting down.
Alright.
Xenia would also have a secondary gift for Rosalind.
So fast. Go ahead.
They would go to the forest and speak with the beings there and ask for a cutting of the wood of the largest tree in the forest.
You
And-
get enough.
Go with the dwarves if there's like a master carpenter as well, because I know we have master metal workers.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And have him carve it up a little bit, have some of the metal workers just add little embellishments of just neutral colors. There's some silvers and golds all going into it, and Xenia would enchant it to not be exactly, but similar to what the Staff of Anther did. And give to Rosalind the Staff of Averos.
Oh,
Right.
thank you.
You are welcome. I didn't have perfect idea of what it would do, but definitely something to help charisma and neutral to be passed on to any fit leader for the island.
Mhm.
But it is. There's a special one for Rosalind. There's a second one, but this one's Rosalind's forever.
Okay, good.
Yes. There's some red in it too.
Bit of a rose pattern kind of swirled at the top.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but I feel like the rose one was looking over the shoulder and going, haha, at it.
Person was looking over the shoulder and just bumped the carpenter's shoulder, elbow, and just whoops, rose shaped.
Yep. The master carpenter at one point is just like, Faye. That's it. Alright. So, Ash, anything else before the year ends?
Housekeeping stuff is just finish the actual establishment of various truce peace and treaties and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
no, that was just
politics.
Ash time asking.
I'm gonna return various magic items. I've already gotten the Scepter of Anther back to Anther with her dad. The Gloves of Goth go back to Esther. Take care of the mask for Caius. Oh, Rosalind's been spending a lot of time fixing those courtyard gardens.
Oh yeah.
And, like,
They are
establishing the Cavern Glow Garden, the underground one, with, like, water features for the aquatic stuff that grows there, and some glowing stuff on the walls, and, like, this nice path that walks through underneath all these lights.
Okay.
It's just a very relaxing spot, and anybody can go there. It's very calming, very quiet. It's probably a really nice place for, say, dwarves who are used to living in underground to go and get a little bit of that deep earth nature and relax, unwind a bit.
Makes sense. All right. And Ashley, you're good on your year?
Yep.
All right. In that case, God damn it. D4. 3. 2, 3. So that would be Xenia.
Mhm.
So, the 1 year. Go ahead.
I want a big fuck off greatsword.
What would you like to get a greatsword from? Or would you like me to pick?
Probably the dwarves helped to build it.
Okay, what are they building out of?
What's cool?
How big are we talking?
Cloud.
Important question. The size of a cloud or a cloud giant?
Cloud
Cloud
from
Strife.
Fantasy. Cloud from Final Fantasy.
Buster
Oh,
sword.
gotcha.
Buster sword.
That's more reasonable. Gotcha. Okay, so it's definitely partially mithril.
I've got a lot of obsidian if you
Berserk,
want it.
leech, whatever you want to draw from here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, there's definitely some. Oh, I got it. You could, if you would like, they could basically essentially create a, not quite an alloy, but a mixture of the. Oh, I got an idea, Esther. Don't worry. Mithril, for weight purposes. Infuse it with those explosive gems,
Eek.
and powered by the gems of the slurry.
Eek.
It's big.
If possible, Asha will walk in during the creation.
Yep.
He'll pull up, go to his
Everyone's in
pocket.
like full bomb suits. I would like to note.
He's got the dex save for it.
Yep.
Walks in, flips a gem out of his pocket into his hand, hands it over to you.
Mm.
That is the size 2 Fey Portal gem. It can maybe help it stick to your hand and, be wieldy.
Xenia's holding it and then tries to hand it to a dwarf. And it takes a
They
couple dwarfs.
I take it like padded hands. All right. So yeah, I'll go into vague detail basically. Sword can go boom.
Eek.
It can be powered by spell slots or slurry. As well because of that Fey Portal gem. Essentially allows you to cast Misty Step at will, and do the kind of Steel Wind Strike with like 2 attacks, but with as a shorter range.
Yo, I
Basically.
don't even have 2 attacks.
I know. Yeah, it's basically like a once per 5th level spell slot you put in there. Essentially, Steel Wind Strike that deals bullshit damage. And each of the 4 strikes does a different damage type.
Also, as a possible offer on that for the Fey Gem edition, could it just kind of have that like Eldritch Knight resummon to your hand thing?
Oh yeah, totally.
Also, upon the creation, Esther's gonna approach Xenia and just, you know how you like things that glow?
Make it low.
And she's gonna pull out the kilogram of glowing charcoal dust.
Oh my god.
Do you want to infuse this into the metal?
That would actually really help the metal too.
Yeah, Lord, baby! I keep everything!
It glows with an otherworldly light that you can choose the color of.
This is why we keep shit!
Can I have the ability to shift the color with the Fey Portal gem in the Chaos of the Feywild?
That's what I mean. Like you can just choose the color at any point in time.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Mood Buster sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my
Do you have a
God.
name for this weapon?
The only thing coming to my head is my bitch.
Cool. Your sword, what's wrong with it?
It'll probably get renamed in the future, but for now it's my bitch.
Yeah. couple hundred years from now, it'll have a different thing.
Yes.
All right.
Fey Blaster.
I think the great sword of Xenia Talzit carries a fucking weight to it. Just
Sword is-
considering, yeah, but also just considering the shit that Xenia does.
True. Very true.
It never has a true name because Xenia keeps changing it.
That's
Oh
fair.
god, I love it. I love it.
Towards like the end of your guys' lifetime, Xenia has changed it to Big Dick Buster Sword.
Of course.
God.
That'll be a fun magic item to find in campaign too. Fuck.
No, Xenia's alive. It's mine. It's mine.
Yeah, but I mean, like finding the name of it.
Yes.
All right.
That's one thing.
Yep.
Second thing is to begin learning some diplomacy from Rosalind and getting charisma up slightly from it not being +0.
Yep. And oh boy, do you have a crash course when it comes to diplomacy when it comes to the island over the next year?
Astra probably does too, because he has that persuasion proficiency now.
Oh, all of you have a crash course. Basically, anyone who chooses not to like explicitly extricate themselves from that. Yeah, there's like assassination attempts every month or so. It's fine. You guys handle it.
I want to start learning Draconic and also adding to that as like time goes on as well other languages, but beginning with Draconic.
Okay, you can go full polyglot if you want to.
Here's the thing: you say there's assassination attempts regularly.
Yep.
You know how you know how you put certain things in like zoo animals' cages for like their
Enrichment?
entertainment. Enrichment is the word I'm looking for. That is Ash's enrichment in a peaceful world.
I believe it actually.
And the last thing on short term is stuff we've already done. I do want to do the stuff that was under the sea. There was some stuff still going on there that I wanted to help.
Where do you put the black holes, Xenia?
Don't worry.
No, I need to know.
Don't know.
Not
I didn't
where-
think of it.
No, not where does it end up.
Yeah.
Do you do the thing?
No.
Okay.
You got me worried when I was first talking about it with you, and I got nervous.
Okay, that is your prerogative.
Yes.
Xenia, eat
Yeah.
the black hole. Become the black hole.
No, I actually want to be alive for campaign 2. Thank you very much.
Fair
Be a
point.
black hole and be alive.
No, you can't. Just hard no.
And other than that,
You're no fun, sir.
other
Fuck
than that,
you.
uh,
Sorry.
try and make some resurrection coins that are like an instant go off,
Okay.
just in case one of those assassination attempts go a little.
It takes some time, but you can definitely get that done.
Yeah, but that's like an ongoing thing. Like every 6 months, and he's like, "Okay, time to make a batch."
All right. Sounds good. Anything else?
No, be gay, do crime. Not actually. Ashton would kill me.
Understandable.
The crime part. Please make that distinction.
All right. Next up is Esther. 1 year time
Okay.
scale.
Okay, so in about 6 months,
Yes.
at some point, docked somewhere in the mountains, perhaps to do government work with the Citadel or something along those lines,
Or probably talking to Ronier.
Esther goes to take a walk. And she walks a lot further than she thought she would. And I'm presuming that in the mountains, there are kind of like little almost outposts in a sense where towns would kind of, like not towns, but almost settlements.
Definitely old settlements, yeah. Mostly unpopulated, but there are the occasional people who live there, yeah. Mostly nomads.
And she comes across this one kind of almost burnt looking place. Just kind of peeking around, like, bored with diplomacy. Might as well go and explore.
Yeah. Might I offer a possible contact for it?
Yes, please.
It could probably be pretty close to where you guys accidentally slipped into that Fey portal.
Oh, that's
Because
true.
around there would have been a short-term assault from some of the fire giants.
It's true. And in the wreckage of this building, she hears this cry. She thinks at first, okay, it sounds kind of like an animal, goes to kind of investigate, but as she gets closer, it's not an animal. And you will see, as Esther returns that day, in a bundle of fabric, with a baby.
Fucking found another baby. Happens every campaign.
Yeah.
I imagine somebody looks at her and goes, "Where did you find that? Go put it back. Its parents probably are looking for it."
You steal
Jay-
a baby?
Jane goes, well, that's how babies are made.
Yes, I just find them. He's abandoned, truly and utterly. The
You see-
village was burnt. There was no survivors. There were skeletons.
You see Jade, now able to walk, kind of toddles over to you and like reaches up to touch the baby.
And she kind of leans him down a little bit.
And she puts a hand on the forehead and closes her eyes. The eyebrows knit. He is sad.
It's because he's alone, sweetheart. But he
She
won't
looks at-
be.
We can keep him?
Say hello to your new little brother.
There is a scree.
And Esther stands up, looks Ashta dead in the eye, and goes, considering he was found on a mountain, and there's a lot of rock around, I think his name will be Basalt.
You're the
Go watch it.
You're the projecting that poor
Huh?
child.
I hope you know, half of her children's names are made to
Aggravate?
aggravate you in some way, shape, or form.
Calling him salt.
Yeah.
Important question. Is it basalt or basalt?
Basalt, like the rock.
Okay. No, just checking.
And Asha makes it clear that you are subjecting this small being's entire existence to being referred to a single thing as for the sake of a joke.
Yes, but again, in Genasi culture, these names are fine.
Yes, they are. This is normal in Genasi culture. She just finds it hilarious that you dislike it.
The world is not Genasi culture.
Yes, but
Not
I'm
yet.
Genasi.
Not yet, it isn't.
Soon. No. Genasi takeover.
Oh, that'd be a fucking wild 100 years.
Yeah, but no, about 6 months in, we introduce Basalt, a long-ass name, because, you know, tieflings and Gareel loves middle names for some fucking reason. Mackin.
What species is he?
Can I keep it until he starts getting older?
Sure.
Please, it's so funny.
Yeah, sure.
Yay, okay.
What species is he? A Pomeranian.
Of course.
Yo,
what else would it be?
German Shepherd?
Oh yeah.
But no, and other than the finding of Basalt,
Race, that's what I was looking for.
yes, race,
We understood.
the beginning drafts for an academy begin to get written by Gareel and Esther, other dwarves, and in conjunction with the University of Valeri, as well as obviously the party, because what better place to host an academy for learning, I don't know, defense, martial, magic, all these different types of things. What
So
better
it
place to
definitely
collect?
it definitely grows into a few things.
Yeah, but what better place to have something like that than on an island that travels so constantly?
Right.
Offers
And I will
new.
say, Ronir offers a large number of workers to help you with this too. Craftsmen. By now, most of the refugees who are going to the island have made it there, but Ronir still offers to lend as many dwarves as they are excited to do projects like this.
Mhm. And Esther to the group also proposes the idea of an orphanage for the kids who were displaced in the burning of Peduncle, for those who have lost their families due to the war. A place where kids can grow in safety. And she proposes that idea to the group.
I'm pretty sure that's just part of infrastructure of like building a society at some point. There's
Especially for the town, yeah.
yet stuff happens. There's gotta be some sort of point at which like adoptions can happen or new homes can be found. Whatever the
historically,
system may
though,
be.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was there not an idea where noblemen or kings and the like would basically house people in their castle to give them opportunity? Was that
They
not a
did.
thing at one time? Yeah. So I'm thinking there could be sort of that
That's-
integrated.
That's fostering, and I think it was typically done among nobles, like noble families.
Okay.
Like
I could see that as just... Go ahead.
like, in a society that wasn't equal, the poor could go eat dirt. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Of
But
course.
we want to be a little better than that, so there's probably some kind of infrastructure or system in place. I'm not sure it would necessarily be an orphanage, but
Long.
there's got to be some sort of like
Yeah,
fostering
definitely.
system.
I mean, I will say, if Esther's putting effort into that, the Firebirds are wonderful caretakers.
Yeah.
So
No, she just, again, it's the
the intent.
it's the matron concept. She
Yeah.
grew up as a matron taking care of kids. That was what she did. She took care of other people's kids. If people happened to die out in the desert, she ended up taking them on
Okay,
until they could find family.
I've got a different suggestion. We've got a bunch of working dwarves and other people. Do you want to make like the first daycare?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be such chaos. Absolutely.
Yes.
You're already making a school. If any students come in with kids, then they get like daycare on the side for it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say, with the combination of elements that are a part of that island, with the dragons, with the Firebirds, with the dwarves, yeah, it probably becomes a well-known thing that if a kid needs to be cared for, and essentially society is not caring for them, the island is probably a pretty good place for it if they can get there. And I imagine with Esther putting in the effort to find people like that, it's not uncommon either.
Oh yeah, she would definitely go down into the tribes and ask them to spread the message around that they are looking for matrons who still have that, or who want that right of fuck, one sec. I remember what it was. It was the right of travel, who haven't gone through their right of travel. Matrons who still want to attend to children but also still want to see that world. They are more than welcome for room and board to come, and as long as they take care of the children.
Makes total sense too. I imagine in the the quote unquote Genasi village of the town, yeah, that would be a huge thing.
Oh yeah, no, and I just love the idea of the academy where every now and again members of the party kind of come in to like show off or teach a class, and there's like just rumors of like Ashta who comes in like every now and again and just fucking decks a student in like combat or some shit. I think it's very funny.
It's great. It is a fun concept.
Not to hurt them, but just to show them, hey,
Combat
like
training.
adventuring isn't just all fun and games. You need to be prepared for people like this.
All right, and we'll get to more of the school later on too. All right, anything else for the 1 year?
At around the end of the 1 year, no, not yet. Soon, but not yet.
Okay, perfect. John, would you like to do Caius or Fervus first? You are muted, by the way. Oh god, there we go.
Let's do Caius first for the 1 year.
All right, go for it.
Caius keeps wrestling, but he also, near the end of the year, opens up a wrestling school, somewhere in Anther.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Any of the big things, or is he just kind of doing his career, enjoying himself? Does he win the title?
He does, actually, yeah.
Excellent. All right. And what about Fervus?
And, he meets someone. I haven't,
You haven't picked a name or anything?
figured out a name, but
Okay, no worries.
no wrestler.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge you for not picking a name. Trust me. All right, and what about Fervus?
Fervus went back to the university, did all of that. He's the youngest alchemy professor in history, even teaching classes with students older than him.
I mean, yeah. Age is a bit different in a society like this with elves and the like, so yeah, definitely.
He also, at this point, decides to start a project to spearhead the development of new ways to administer potions, stuff like thermal patches, pills. Fervus is quite partial to the potion gummy bears.
I sense some inspiration from that one. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what he does for the year.
All right. So, over the course of the year, the world changes quickly. It's not quite a power vacuum, but what happened on the elemental planes and on the astral plane is significant on a massive scale. You hear rumors of other countries where, to all of a sudden to them, suddenly the planes are a lot more accessible than they used to be, and that causes a lot of issues around the world, essentially. The conflict with the giants reaches a head, and quickly ends. Hello, Corvo. There's a notable battle that happens on the side of the mountain by Citadel, where for a while it seems like Citadel is going to come down. And part of that is because the Inquisitor turned out to be a turncoat. And he was actually working in the Underdark the whole time.
Motherfucker.
Halfway through the battle, while the peduncle forces essentially are winning, suddenly the Underdark comes alive and drow swarm the side of the mountain. But luckily, are saved at the end of the day by Prince Rainier, leading an army of dwarves, and essentially, I assume, at some point you guys are questioned like, hey, shit's going on, please come help.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're the airstrike.
we got it. Yeah.
And through the combined forces of Prince Rainier and Averos, battle is won. The giants are no longer in conflict, as they have essentially agreed that it's not worth fighting Peduncle. It's not as isolated as it used to be. In the aftermath of that, the Civil War gets weird. It turns into more of a Cold War than anything, more of a political struggle. For a while, there's talks of most of the northwestern part of the country separating. But it never happens. The talk goes on for a long time. And before it actually gets to the point of separation, the Druidic government essentially collapses, as it's recognized today. The new agency granted by Prince Rainier, by the general of the Civil War, by essentially only the Citadel and Averos actually protecting from the giants, from the Genasi who are now holding a huge, almost strike in terms of trade, as they now have way better access to the plains as opposed to being forced to go around to a country that doesn't treat them well. As the soul develops, and as Anther now has new leadership, with Peduncle no longer being able to centralize power. Sorry, not new leadership, new forces, new citizens. Over the course of the year, the government doesn't fully stabilize. It can't, not that quickly. But things are being rebuilt. It'll take some time. But at the moment, it's splintered. So, in the 10-year time frame. Before we get to that, actually, sorry, one more thing, the sword. It's discovered as the different researchers get a hand on it, as the kind of knowledge for the important folks who need to of the Fane is solidified. As Orzer feels comfortable enough to talk with it with other researchers for a while. The sword is thought for a long time, and then eventually confirmed to be another piece of the Is. The primeval Fane. It's a tiny piece of essentially the first land, the first matter that was created by the Is. Which is why it resonates so much. And this is discovered in part by Gadzooks. The tiny dragon firebird thing that you guys hatched that gave you all your boons. As at one point the Fane kind of all go fuzzy. And when they come back, their knowledge is greater than it was before, of the beginning of everything. And they're able to help with this and categorize this. It's still thought that the best path and the safest path to make this thing not a horrible blight in the future is the slow reintroduction of goodness, essentially, as best as you can, of power that isn't made to kill, to destroy, to unremark. And so that progresses. The knowledge is more concrete. There's kind of an improved way to insert Fane and power into this that makes it easier on you, Ashta. As you might have begun to notice at the end of the year, approaching the end of the year, that there was a very subtle, what you might have thought at first was just either age or something, but there was something slowly draining you that starts to wane as you figure out a better method of this. And so, that's the 1 year time scale. Let's go to the 10 year. Who would like to go first?
Can I go second?
Sure, you can go second. Who would like to go first? Let's go with
Asha wants to get Jay's situation sorted.
Okay. In your mind, what does sorted mean for Jay?
Not some sort of solidity of what his soul's about, what his being is, and he doesn't have to fear oblivion at the end of his natural lifespan.
Okay. How much? At what point in time is this happening for you?
It probably would have maybe come into the previous year though, but I knew it was a much more of a long-term thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Also on that too, he's curious about the relation between him there and Watcher being in stasis.
All right. How much of Ashta's help is magical? How much of it is emotional/mental? And how much of it is planar?
If there's not greater problems that he needs to attend to that are in nature of people losing lives, war, stuff like that. This is basically what he gets up to for a decent amount of time.
Okay. And again, is this like are you helping him emotionally? Are you trying to merge the mental part of it? Are you trying to planar affect him?
He's trying to get research done to be able to make informed decisions on stuff like that, but also he is just there to mentally help him in emotional support as much as he can. Gotcha.
I will say one of the first suggestions, probably more so from Jay than anyone else, is seeing if he can try essentially putting that piece of himself he doesn't like in the sword. Kind of like what originally happened with the Gith. It's thought to not be safe, just at least at this point in time.
Yep.
And probably shot down very quickly. And that's probably more at the beginning of things, when he's in that kind of desperate stage, I don't know how to help myself. I'm just broken, I don't know why. But as the time goes on, he becomes probably someone who's regularly seen around Averos. You spend some time in the Force. You spend some time probably with Esther helping out for a while with the kids. You spend some time around you and Raza and your kids, I imagine. It seems that nature is the most healing thing for him. He never gets better faster than when he's around nature. And so for a while, he just walks into the patchwork forests and comes out on a bit of a new lease on life. He spent some time with the different civilizations there, essentially, that stay hidden. He spoke to some archdruids, some glimmers. They don't know what to make of him either, but by the end of it, he is emotionally, mentally, a lot more stable. He now has 10 years of time as a person, not as memories. Just being able to make his own decisions. And that seems to be one of the biggest things that helps, having an identity all upon yourself. In terms of the Watcher, you're never going to be sure until he passes. There is no way to be sure until he passes. Something with the death of Bo, and with the decision being made about Ashton no longer being the Watcher after he passes. There is a connection there. You're not sure if it's more akin to a Warlock, to a Cleric, to an Aasimar. It will be found out what happens when he passes, but it doesn't seem to be antagonistic. It doesn't seem to be detrimental to him. And he now has a litter of puppies.
Ah.
And they're all way bigger than they should be. And some of them can breathe frost breath, but that's fine.
Huh.
Anything else in the 10 years?
Startup, planar border control, Ranger Conclave.
Alright. And I will say, Aquarius takes a big part to help with that too, if she can, if you allow her, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it more at the end, but over the course of the 10 years, the Elemental War, as it comes to be dubbed, ends. As Libra is found whole physically, but not mentally. As half of Gemini is found dead. And later revived.
Dragon.
The dragon, but is revived later on by unknown means. Essentially, the good guys won. And
What
depending how you
happened
guys,
What happened to
Go.
Libra?
we'll get to that. This is closer to the end of the 10 years, so we'll get to that in the recap afterwards, essentially. But it essentially comes out to, unless you guys choose to interfere otherwise, the idea of the Zodiacs persists, but more of to what it was supposed to be at the beginning, and possibly looking at it as more of a diplomat between planes, including the material plane now, and closely connected with that enclave that you and Aquarius are fostering.
As a side thing too, just for fun, heavy mithril armor might be a running theme with them.
I do like the idea. It probably starts out being more of an officer thing than like the average soldier, just because mithril is fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, I'm saying in the long term.
It definitely might become, if it becomes more of like a pass it down type of thing. It might be that just like, the mithril armor of the previous captain is passed on to the new captain as like a ceremonial.
Yep. And of course, there's like work, like if the dwarves would care to, there could be a running thing of how to say, parody's not the word I'm looking for.
Homage?
Emulation. Yeah, homage or emulation. Of what happened with Ash's armor. Just they like it is. It's a little like medieval fantasy Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
For each person.
Okay. I will offer this if you like. It becomes tradition that each captain or soldiers that get their armor is to go to some people of some kind. Many choose the dwarves, but a lot of the Genasi folk go to the Genasi. If they're from one of the other planes, they go to wherever their home is. If they go to the Azers, the Azers. It's tradition to get it blessed by someone.
Yep.
And someone planar, close to whatever plane that you care to be focused on.
Yeah, that's fair.
The dwarves are the most common, because dwarves are kind of all over the material plane, and most of your side, at least, is from the material plane.
Want to hear a dumb tradition I just thought of?
Go ahead.
You get your armor, it's traditional, the first time that you put it on, the smith comes in with a hammer
And tries to break it.
to test the integrity of the fit.
Yep.
I love it.
I like that.
I like that one.
Now,
Does
the
that
question,
encourage that tradition?
begrudging, like he doesn't stop it.
Okay.
You know what that could easily become in like time? Instead of like a full-on like full-powered swing, it's almost a knightly tap of the hammer.
That's exactly what I was thinking
like,
about.
symbolic ding ding. You are fit.
Yep.
One
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
didn't really get the tradition and just.
One guy
that's
thought one guy thought it was a hazing and did not go well.
Yeah.
How you end your shift each night, your command leader has to tap your armor, otherwise you cannot go home.
it's
Like
it
with
was
the
referred
best.
to as it's an old timey hammering.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Maybe even a thing like between captains, just like punching each other in the in the abs or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Question:
Yes.
if they're being passed down and they're being brought around and blessed, is that cumulative?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It doesn't. The oldest ones hold on to the best, and the newest one is usually pretty good too. The intermediate ones become kind of just part of the armor, not necessarily as powerful as the first or last, because old magic is powerful and new magic is powerful. But there's something to be said about the cumulative blessing of gods and the unique effects of armor and what that person can draw out of that armor. Kind of in the style of your Planet Warrior. So, anything else?
Maybe all the armor get little divots on the back where wings could perhaps be conjured up if you get good with it.
I could see that being a pretty good tradition.
Um,
Do you want to do anything with Essence?
that was going to be a later thing,
Okay, sure.
longer
I'll
term.
put it out there.
But on that, at the very least, if I don't know how soon Xenia wants to get into a certain thing.
Whoa, you can say the thing out loud.
Ix hunting.
Yeah. That's in here. That's somewhere. I don't know what I put.
Is it
Jay would
within-
be a great tag along for that too.
Mhm.
Let's fucking go, man. I got Betsy the Bustier. It's spelt wrong for a reason. That's part of the. It's spelt wrong for a reason. Is part of the name.
I love it. I hate it, but I love it. Ashta, questions.
Yeah.
So, to clarify first of all, when doing that, a lot of Ix hunting, more and more the connection to the Mind Flayers keep coming up.
Mhm.
I will say just straight up, in your lifetime, you never find out why.
Fair enough.
Just straight up.
That will be a thing he is like straight up like with his conclave whenever, hey fuckers, figure this out.
And a part of that seems to be that because a lot of the information needed is on the astral plane with the Githyanki, and they do not want your presence there.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, his basic like if there's any sort of like long term anciently taken words of his or whatever, it's hey, bleed information out of these fuckers over the centuries.
and I have to ask, every time you go to fight a Mind Flayer that seems to be connected to the Ix somehow, material wants to kill it so bad. Do you ever let it?
No. I don't know if he'd bring material with him on a number of those.
It doesn't matter. You can feel it. Essence isn't there if you don't attune to it. Material never leaves you mentally. It's not a voice. It's an urge. It's an urge you're periodically having to tamper down because it is a bloodthirsty one. Especially around anything with either Phalanx.
Well, it's lucky he has both Jay there, for example, and hey, how do I tone down this bloodlust in me, and his ancient heritage of hey, left hand create, right hand destroy.
Yeah. And it seems every time it's hard, and every time you have to put intent behind forcing it back, the next time seems just a bit weaker. And just a bit weaker. It's not even yearly. It's probably every couple of years where it becomes an actual issue. There's probably a couple side quests of like, fuck, Ashta's getting real close to going like, shit's gone wrong, and we're worried about him. And it probably happens once or twice where it gets close. That sword is powerful.
Ash
But
just
it
got
weakens over
two
time.
minds in one.
That's fair.
And-
Rosalind
Yeah.
helps.
And it's a wonderful anchor. I would hesitate to say that anyone but someone in this party, but in particular Ashton and Rosalind combination, could resist the level of strength this sword has. This was meant to be like an endgame problem. But with the practice of bow, with Rosalind as being emotional support ex infinity, and just with sheer force of will and the help of your party and your friends and the people who love you, yeah, that sword never wins over you. Still not fixed in 10 years, but it's getting there. When did the kids happen?
I was going to get to that when it was my turn. Don't worry
Okay,
about
just
it.
want to check. Just want to check.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else?
If at any point we can do the cleansing of the Ix, as a setup for something potentially later, could he perhaps convert some of those Ix to Fane and give them to Hawk?
Definitely, yeah. Hawk doesn't take it as readily as Essence does. It kind of takes some massaging in, but it does eventually get there.
All right. Good to know for future things. So
Yep.
That's me.
I'm looking at the note right now. I was wondering if I was going to come up on this one.
Yep.
All right. So with that, Scott, you requested to go second.
Yes. The reason I requested is because I don't know how much later I can stay. That's the problem.
Totally fair.
I have to go get my roommate from her work. That's why.
Okay, if you need to step out for a bit, you can. No worries.
Yeah. I'll be probably hopping off at around 11:50. I don't know if I can come back because I have to get up early tomorrow.
Okay. Well, in that case, we'll get yours done as the first of like the last portion,
Okay.
and the rest will be for you.
Pardon me?
The rest will be on recording if it goes longer.
Yeah. Okay. So in 10 years. Sorry, I mapped this all out just so I could have a kind of a rough timeline. So, in 10 years, the next year after she finds Basalt, a small, weak, very timid, half-orc child has managed to stumble his way onto Averos with a group of those seeking the legends of such a city. And he has heard legends from other kids of a Lady of the Stars who takes in lost kids and gives them a home. And it is upon their first meeting that Esther adopts Newmarsh. A couple of years down the line, about 27, so say a year after that, when Esther is 28, she has a surprise for all of you. And she gathers you around and she tells you with tears in her eyes and a smile on her face, something that she never thought she would get to tell anyone, because she didn't think it was going to happen. She's pregnant.
Oh, quick
And-
clarity. How many years after is this?
This is, so she's 26 at the end of the campaign, so this is
Okay.
2 years after.
So it is two.
Okay.
Fun.
Oh, please tell me. Wait.
Not quite, but it's close.
Oh, it would have been so funny. And 9 months later, Numo is brought into the world.
I like that one.
What's the joke there? What's the horrid joke there?
Go ahead.
Numo, sorry, I gotta make sure I'm getting this right. So,
Yeah, wouldn't want it to be painful or anything.
Numo is in tribute to something the dwarves are beginning to create, using air elementals and water elementals, changes of pressure and volume. Numo is named in honor of the discovery and beginning use of pneumatics.
I will say it's not fully elementals. We'll get to that later. Yep. we'll
Just
get
the
to that.
practice of it.
Yeah.
What is it now? So that's 28, 9, 30, 31. 3 years after that, Esther has another child named Kathos. Numo and Kathos are both tieflings. They are, well, they're tieflings, and Gareel could not be happier. After, I believe it's a year after that, a half-elf child named Alder, who has been living in the daycare / foster system for a while, who is incredibly talented with swords, has grown very close to Esther, and she officially takes him into her family. Now, 3 years after that, Esther is 35, and to her absolute amazement and thanking her stars, she's gonna have another kid. The world's first astral genasi, born of blood and not through the birth of the vestiges, is born, much to the shock of Esther and Gariel. Is that okay with you, Conrad?
Yeah, go for it.
So, Esther, who did not realize that her blood and being had been unequivocally changed, gave birth to the first astral genasi. That same year, Quarry, my bad, a very talented young magic user, who again also sought shelter of the Lady of the Stars, came into her family as well. Aldir, Ashta, adores you. He follows you constantly because you use bows and you carry a massive sword, and this child is obsessed with swords. You
Simone
find,
is
huh?
jealous. Simone is jealous.
Oh, he also adores Simone. Please do not doubt that. He will follow her as well. If Ashta is off busy, Simone is the next target.
Keep in mind
She's
in this
always
that
happy.
Xenia has a buster sword.
That's also true.
Yeah,
And also a bow.
he's got so many people around him who have swords, and he will sit for hours with Xenia if they so let him, and listen, and just listen. And Xenia could tell him anything in the world, any story, anything from silly to knowledgeable, and he will listen because he thinks that Xenia is the smartest person in the world. And that's not ironic, he genuinely does. This child is meant to be very wholesome, please know this.
Yes.
Now, in that 10 years, the school is thriving. It's officially dubbed the Academy of Aberos. There's probably a much longer primordial name, but in the sake of time, and also I have not come up with it yet, it's a mix of both magic users and combat users. Half the school is used to educate in the ways of magic. There are people that Esther invites from the universities. Many of the, what are they called, the really powerful wizards again?
Glimmers.
Glimmers. She invites the Glimmers. Orizer, she begs to come in because she thinks that he'd be a great learning experience. And Orizer spends half the class telling them about the group's bullshit and what he had to put up with. Much to the students' delight, much to Esther's kind of embarrassment, but you know what? They hopefully learned something out of it. The other half of the school is mainly gyms and training rooms and is used to educate in forms of combat and weaponry. Oftentimes, hopefully, whenever they have a free moment, the party can come into this school and give classes, educate, or tell a story. The students have heard the legends. They've heard the tales. And the fact that they are seeing these people in person brings a realness to those stories, brings a weight to them that future generations will not have. The daycare and the foster system is doing really well. It's slowly beginning to spread past Averos, so that way kids who perhaps can't make it to Averos, kids who are displaced in other ways, little sort of stations are popping up in major cities where they can kind of form communications, where if a family pops up in another city or people who lost each other during the war, they're able to find each other again. And to the children, the little ones in the daycare and the foster on Averos, there are weekly trips in small groups so as to not overwhelm to visit the monarch, where she is able to tell the stories that she has not been able to tell for years to audiences of people who adore and love her, who view her as this majestic being that she truly is, and allow her to tell the tales that she has spent years letting collect dust.
All right.
As well as that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Quick note, first of all, remember for the monarch, it is they.
Oh, sorry,
And
they. My bad.
It's all good. And also, I remember there being on a request from Rosalind that the school would also have more than just the combat and the magic classes.
Yeah.
A distinct
Yeah.
curriculum of basically more functional classes, and not just adventurous school.
Mhm.
Oh no, I completely agree. There should be
Yeah.
mathematics and sciences and important things. I would assume Fervis, though he's busy at the university, would hopefully try to teach science classes as well, alchemical classes. Esther would beg him to please help.
And I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair, if the university starts out being less focused on that, and then eventually develops towards other things.
There's definitely going to be some arts and culture, like music classes, not just for bards, but I assume that bards would potentially like that and grow out of it anyway, and humanities, and maybe a little bit of politic, a little bit of, like, theology stuff. Just,
How to be a responsible adventurer.
yeah,
Yeah.
full not even adventurer, just a full
know.
university campus.
In
And
my head, it's just part of the classes.
adventuring is one of the majors.
Yeah, that's the one
a-
it's known for, maybe.
A place to have well-rounded individuals who are actually capable of, you know, not just going out and killing things, but also able to become very powerful and very prominent members of society. Definitely,
just
I agree
people
with
who crack
Rosalind.
skulls.
I was just kind of drifting onto that topic, but no, there will definitely courses like we have today, like politics and arts, and definitely arts, because
just think
Esther
that-
would teach dancing.
I think that's what the kind of the focus we were wanting to start it with, at least.
Yeah.
And then branch out from there.
Yeah,
You know what I could see? Maybe closer to the beginning, the dwarves as a collective, they see the school beginning to drift towards that kind of adventuring thing, and at the same time as Rosalind notices that might be the kind of trend of like who's being hired, essentially. And the dwarves go, well, time to make like 1 million apprentices at the same time. And so like the crafting and the art side of that all develops. And at the same time, Rosalind kind of encourages diplomatically and culturally for there to be, okay, let's bring some other people who we might not have considered to help teach here and bring in for those classes. And as it kind of becomes a collective project, the school blossoms.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just wanted it to be a full-fledged school.
Yeah, just want to put it out there for as an
Yes.
overnight.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that makes me so excited. Personally, for Esther, throughout that whole time, despite growing a family and building this school from the ground up and getting people and the fostering system, she's trying to connect herself further to the astral. She, in her private time, is trying to commune with souls as they drift through the astral sea. And hopefully, to a point, she wants to connect herself to the astral, that when she isn't fully meditating, and this will probably take obviously more than the 10 years, but this is what she's trying to begin with now.
Yep.
She wants to be able to see souls that are holding on or have left traces. She wants to be able to see that while she's in the material. The echoes, yeah.
Yeah.
She wants to be able to commune with those who have passed on and perhaps those who are still holding on, to try to aid them in letting go.
I imagine a lot of that comes from talking with Ash and Xenia.
Yeah.
Xenia specifically for the soul angle and Ashta for that kind of connection. Because a lot of souls exist in the ethereal, which is not the same thing as the astral, unfortunately.
Mhm.
There are some in the astral. And only with the help of Ashta and Xenia helping you would you even be able to have access to that, at least to start.
Yeah. Basically, starting now and over the rest of her life, she's trying to become as much of a being of the astral as she can, while still being connected to the material plane.
Interesting. Out of curiosity, just give me a intelligence check.
I'm assuming no feign for advantage.
Intelligence in there, that's fine.
Nice. Fucking art. Oh, that's a fuck. Fuck. Sorry.
I can pull down the number, it's fine. Alright, so that would be a 24 and a 12. Okay, good to know.
I'm so used to saving throws at this point.
Alright, anything else in the 10 years?
Other than all of that, as she communicates more with the astral, probably like deities kind of pop up every now and again, like, what the fuck are you doing? Kind of idea. She would
Honestly, probably not.
Oh, okay, good.
The Astrals is left alone for the most part.
Nice. She'd like to try to get closer to Thoth over the time period.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Just slowly but surely kind of thing. And aesthetic-wise, she gets a lot of fucking tattoos.
Of course.
They are mostly in these blazing white lines and sigils that decorate her body. Symbols of Thoth and the astral, things she's seen, and of Genasi culture, of the elemental planes, and even a symbol of Aquarius, as well as one of Leo. And I think that's it for her 10-year time frame.
All right.
Oh, asking Garil where his stance would be on them being married.
If you ask that question, he drops to one knee and pulls out a ring.
Cool. Getting soul vaunted. That's the other one then. I didn't know what her stance would be at that point.
Yeah, no. If you ask, he essentially didn't want to. He was too nervous to broach the subject.
Yeah, no. She wants to be soul bonded to him, to be together for as long as their souls reside in existence.
No problem at all.
Nice.
By that point in time, he's a pretty powerful cleric too.
Yeah,
Still
baby.
still not in the upper teens yet, but he's got there.
Nah, my man's got power. You know.
All right. So next up, who would like to go?
Sure. Mine's gonna be a fair bit shorter, but yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Is this for Caius or for Vermis?
Start with Caius.
Okay.
I've decided that Caius will be in a relationship. Will have been in a relationship with Graceful Bishop. Those are one of the names that I've thrown out there.
All right.
So he's gotten married to Gracewell, and has had his first son, Zephyr.
Hey.
I like the name.
Yeah.
What race?
And he does retire from in-ring competition. Eventually, after Vesper Black retires from being head booker, he is taken on to become head booker himself. So he is now the owner and head booker of Valley Bound Wrestling.
All right. Is that it for Caius?
Yeah, that's really it for Caius.
All right. Career man. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. And do you want to do Fervus now, or do you want to wait?
Do Fervus now.
Go for it.
He starts supplying a lot of the magic store. He's had the breakthroughs with the new ways to administer potions, and he's supplied them to a lot of the magic stores and general stores with these new methods of potion application. And Fervus still does missions and adventures on the side.
Do you invent any fun new potions?
Probably.
Toss any fun ideas you have for that if you want.
Juice that makes you explode.
Juice. He does make juice that makes you explode as a poison.
Philosopher's juice. I like it. All right. And Ariel or Ty, who would like to go next?
Ariel, go.
I go. Okay.
Alright.
So
Yes.
I think this was brought up before, but Sky had plans for returning the vestiges to the Genasi via the library at some point. Like, I know that we are dealing with some other things, but I assume that it's going to calm down at a point, probably within that early 10-year span, I would assume.
Longer.
And basically, if it comes to a good time for it, basically, I want to enchant Esther a replacement item of some kind that's powerful enough. It's not going to be on the same power as like 4 vestiges at once. That was ridiculous a little bit. But it is going to be strong enough to protect Esther and keep her safe if trouble continues to crop up in any way, so that way, when we first got the vestiges, our first reaction to them basically was, we need to return these to where they belong. We need to return these to the Genasi people. So that is one of the few loose threads that I think are still hanging at this point and hasn't been discussed outside of like in typing chat.
Yeah, makes sense.
There is that. It's not like Rosalind direct, but she is kind of concerned with making sure that things are closed off, completed, tucked away neatly.
Put to rest.
Yeah. put
And
to
Esther,
rest.
before you have to leave, would Esther have any input on that?
She still wants to hold on to the vestiges. She
Okay.
did a lot to find them, and honestly, she's kind of scared that if she gives them away, she'll lose that astral part of her that she's worked so hard to gain. She knows in her mind that that's not going to happen, that she's going to remain as she is, that obviously her child being born of the astral is kind of an indicator to that, but she isn't quite ready to give them up yet. Maybe in a little while longer. She gladly accepts Rosalind's gift. She then sits and tells Rosalind her plan is that eventually, now that the Library of Souls is back under Genasi control, that acolytes of the Genasi people are slowly being permitted to re-enter the library because it's a safer place. And it's a place of learning. It was meant to be shared amongst the Genasi culture and tribe, but the tribes... Yeah, it was a huge cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
But...
And, yeah, if it helps, Rosalind is both very gentle and very persuasive over a long period of time, so I think she might be able to put Esther's mind to rest, her fears, at least a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Out of curiosity, let me see just a raw charisma check, and you can let that inform Esther if you would like. Or if you want to use persuasion, go ahead, use persuasion.
I don't have inspiration.
Yeah, towards the...
I sure would give it
Yeah,
on that.
I currently...
Yeah,
I don't have anything. Yeah.
No,
That's okay.
Just take advantage, it's fine. Yeah.
It's a 16.
She definitely understands your points, and she knows these are supposed to be the Genasi people, and she explains. She goes, she wants to give these to the Library of Souls.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
However, she doesn't want these to fall into the wrong hands because of how powerful they are. Mm-hmm. And eventually, she wants to put up almost a ward, in a sense, on these vestiges, to have them hung on this thing, like an armor almost, and be placed with a ward that only someone with pure of heart, in a sense of like someone who could gain the trust of a phoenix, somebody whose intentions are truly just to help. They would be the ones who are able to bring the vestiges back into the world.
All right. So we'll keep that in mind for next time then. Rosalind, keep going.
All right. Let's see. I think most of my future stuff is just like, in a large scale, keeping an eye on things, helping nudge things, dealing with the, not just the setting up but the maintenance of those future, like, established portals and trade between them and diplomacy and stuff like that, especially aided with the traveling, floating, flying island. However, on two personal levels. Number one, there will be gardens and growing things anywhere Rosalind can conceivably fit them. If there's a central location within the castle that's used as like a public space or a thoroughfare, there's going to be like, at some point, a fountain and big planter boxes in there full of grass and flowers and shrubs and small trees. There's a road between like castle and the town or lake or forest. There's going to be nice resting places with trees and shrubs and things. Window boxes wherever like one might fit. She's got enough practicality. She might not go completely overboard, but occasionally she might have to be like stopped just a little bit.
Can I offer something?
Yeah.
The public planning course has a double major with the botany course.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely for taking care of all of the unbelievable amounts of plants in Averos.
Yeah.
There's one of the first things invented is a watering can that a firebird can hold.
Conrad, I was literally about to suggest the same fucking thing.
Excellent. Please continue. Just wanted to put that idea out.
The one other, I guess, personal thing is a couple of years after that 1 year mark, a couple of years after getting married, Rosalind would maybe for a few mornings, for a couple weeks, maybe not feel very well, and then feel fine, and then maybe not feel well, and then feel fine, and she just doesn't know what's going on, and yeah, she goes to, after some pestering, she goes to see a physician of some kind, and Ashta gets a bit of a shock. Yeah, maybe Xenia. If Xenia would be able to diagnose this, then absolutely.
Xenia with like a passive 23 medicine looks
Oh
up,
yeah, you can
down,
diagnose
up,
this.
down. You're
But I
pregnant.
Yep. And Ashton gets the backlash shockwave of that knowledge immediately before Rosalind can even figure out how she's going to tell him.
A real fast
Would-
guy. Say something? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, would Esther notice?
Not
is-
that early.
Yeah, this would be early enough that Rosalind herself is only just noticing signs of something being weird. She would not be showing at that point.
You might
No, that's
have
fair.
You might have one of those prophetic mom dreams. I'll give you that.
Mm.
But it's
Okay,
not
thank you. That's all I'm asking for.
Yep. So, timeline-wise, when I noted the birth of Esther's first, not first, but the first one you mentioned, this would be roughly a year after Esther would have noticed, and then 9 months on top of that, so roughly a year older. However, that would be Iris. However, a couple of years after that, it happens again, and that's Dante, and Dante, I think timeline-wise, would line up a bit more with Esther's second mentioned direct-born kid.
Cactus? Oh my god, really?
cute.
Yeah. I think it would just be the two. I suspect that both Rosalind and Ashta being effectively only children, probably not used to, a large household, necessarily.
Makes
Um,
sense. But you have support on the island for sure.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair,
Still.
Although
they're
to be
gonna have
fair,
tons
they're
of
also not
siblings.
used to both parents being there.
Oh! Oh!
Alright.
You're not wrong.
Also true.
You shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Mood. Might I add, though, they will also have tons of siblings in terms of Esther's kids.
Yeah,
Tons
those
of cousins,
those family get-togethers get fucking bonkers.
Yep. And basically Rosalind's whole thing after that is just going to be maintenance of what is. Though actually I had a curiosity
Go for it.
because there's something that never quite got resolved, never quite got answered. And it would not have been in the 10-year mark, I suspect.
Okay.
What happened to Hal-Kareem?
Oh, I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
I'm gonna get there.
All right.
Oh, good. John left.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna do ties. We're gonna do the 10-year wrap up, and then I think we're just gonna have to wait for it to be next time. We're gonna have to do it in 2.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
We just don't have the time to do everyone. I'm sorry.
Can we
I'm
finish
sorry,
up in text?
There's some stuff that I want everyone's input on, which would be a lot easier in person.
It would be a shorter session, I'm assuming, considering.
Yeah, like if you guys would prefer to, anyways, we'll discuss it afterwards. But for now, let's get the finish up with ties, or let's finish up. Sorry, with Rosalind's. If there's anything
Rosalind's
else.
is finished.
All right. In that case, Ty, go ahead.
It's literally simple as hell. If Xenia is helping with kids.
Nothing less, nothing more.
It's a lot of that and research on wyverns and dragons, and that's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'll keep it short for this part then, because I think we'll finish up the 10-year time scale, and then we'll either do chat or we'll discuss what happens next in the thing after. But on the 10-year time scale, one of the earlier things that happen is Ashta, at some point, Rayla kind of asks for a bit of time to talk with you. And she's kind of like, so I've been thinking.
Oh, right.
I don't think you need me anymore.
Oh.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't expecting this.
I know. And if you think you still need me, I'll stay. That being said, I don't want to leave. Can you go to the Feywild with me real fast? Can you bring me there?
Sure, but why?
It's a surprise.
The Rose one's there, I swear to God.
I mean, I can't guarantee he won't be, but it won't be because of me.
Okay. He'll just grab her and there's a little squeaky toy noise.
Yep.
I assume he can just kind of stroll there now.
Yeah, you're fine. Find a nearby portal, you jump in, it's fine. Yeah, you head to the Feywild. She pulls you by the hand for a while in her like bigger form, to a small grove of Rayla flowers. And she kind of sits down and gets you to sit down with her as well. And goes, okay, unattuned to me. That's the best way I know how to explain it.
He'll do so. Rosalind gets a sense of just sinking sorrow.
And Rayla, in her form in front of you, she smiles, gives you a kiss on the forehead, and disappears. And then from around a tree, a dryad walks out, looking just like Big Rayla. With two
There's
arms.
his eyes.
Surprise.
How did you do this?
You basically radiate power. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't essentially surviving off of it. Around it long enough, and you grow. And apparently the next step for me was this. So if you plant a little copse of trees on the island, I can exist there.
He'll just hug her.
And she hugs you back. And you separate, there's a small sapling in your pocket. I'm sure Rosalind will love this as a task to do for me.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you for listening to me.
He'll look around the area. And to whatever influence from his multi-class into like Fey Wanderer he has.
Mhm.
He's gonna just do his best to look, find an oak leaf, just put it in her hair.
She smiles. And it seems to almost have like these tiny vines that wrap around the stalk and almost plant it in her head. So you're not going to see me for a little bit. But once those trees grow, I'll be right there, okay?
Okay.
If you lose that sapling, Ashton, I swear to God.
I would sooner die.
Don't tell me that or I'm going to want to come back with you. Also, Rosalind might be pregnant. Bye! Yep, she's gone.
Cuta walking back. Okay, so Rayla's... Just go stand in front of Xenia for a second.
What?
Is that how
That's
that went?
Dante.
And I imagine Rosalind grows a wonderful set of trees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to also just add to Xenia's stuff, Xenia would help Rosalind fervently plant as many fucking shit as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Channeling the inner druid.
We are revitalizing that forest and the island.
And what Rayla might have forgot, you guys have plant growth.
I'll see you tomorrow, bitch.
Yep.
Conrad,
Yep.
the rite of potential.
Oh, that's a great combo. I love it.
She's coming back.
Yeah, like 6 hours later. What the fuck?
6 hours later, and she's like 8 feet tall.
Yep. She's like, how in the right?
Hello, Rayla. We missed you dearly.
I can
wanted you
tell.
Now, we need to talk about leaving without goodbye to the rest of us, and you should sit down. And that's going to be the end of that.
Yep. All right. 10-year time scale. Sorry, I have a lot of notes. 10-year time scale. So, around this time scale, the government stabilizes. they take some inspiration from their undead neighbors to the south. Essentially a council. And just a council. Any decision is voted upon, period. There's the standard, the level 20 people of each of the things. Basically, a rotating shift of 3 who are always on there, and those who want to stay political can stay political, with oversight of others. There's also an established council of essentially just people. People who know the land, people who know the Genasi culture, people who can essentially bring in aspects other than what was in charge before just because you're magical.
Gary from accounting.
Essentially, yeah. Financial ministers, trade ministers. There's always a seat at the table that is basically required to be from at least one Genasi from each of the tribes. Citadel. Originally, the Citadel tries to take a bit of spearheading role there. The Thronier having a bit of a chip on his shoulder of still wanting to be prince and king. It doesn't go well for him. It sticks to the council format. And because of that, the Citadel becomes just a part of what is still at the moment called Panacea.
I'm sorry, did you say Ronir has the chip on his shoulder?
Yeah. He for a while he's trying to kind of ingratiate himself and become the kind of head of the council. It doesn't work.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. And around this time, Peduncle is regrown. Not nearly to what it was before. But it becomes where the council meets. And it becomes at least the political center. And the Averos is offered a seat in my council if they would like it. It's up to you guys if you choose to accept it. You can discuss it if you'd like in the chat or whatever. But it is offered. If you'd like to stay independent, you can. If you'd like to be part of the country, you can.
Asha accepts only to put forward the motion that they rename Citadel and the Citadel to something less confusing.
Agreed.
That's the only reason.
Can we also petition for the name of Lentiel to not be named after lentils?
Well, see, in this setting, it wasn't named after lentils.
What the fuck was it named after?
Lentiel was a druidic word for something else.
Legumes.
Perhaps.
There we go.
Beans? Yes.
Excellent play. Well done.
I was getting ready for it too.
Sorry.
Very
I mean-
good.
Around this time frame as well. The 10-year time frame is a much more important one in the grand scheme of things. The divination glimmer, Halkarim's grandmother, passes. Peacefully, nothing major. She was just
Get wrecked.
the idea of a divination glimmer. People don't love it. The idea of being able to see the future. There's some places that don't love that, but a new one is elected. And it seems like one of the candidates who didn't end up winning was Samsir. But they turned it down as they were not fully a wizard. They never were. It was offered to them if they wanted to specialize there and take the tome and essentially get up to strong enough to be essentially level 20 wizard plus level 13 druid. They chose not to do it. Samsir ends up taking their own seat on the council, just Samsir. And they act as a, basically, the person in charge of who mixes. The person who's in charge of blending the different parts of the council together and getting them to agree. Essentially the Speaker of the House. And the Duke is offered to be one of the voices of the people, as Anther has become one of the biggest cities in the country.
Sorry, I just had the thing in my head of Samsir, Grand Poobah of sleep deprivation.
Basically, yeah. Samsir has essentially learned how to make the catnap potions the same way you learn to make really fancy espresso when you just really like coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Never quite get it right, but like it's enough to keep me going.
They've got more caffeine than blood, my dude.
You're not wrong. The Duke ends up being one of the people who is most connected to their citizens, as they still take their seat in the longhouse to talk to everyone, to talk to their citizens 6 days of the week, and 1 day is for the council, just one.
I love him so much.
Unfortunately, around this time, Esther, your father passes. It was peaceful.
Okay.
It was peaceful. We don't need to get too much into it if you don't want to.
Like, my bio father or the...
No. Your actual dad.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How does he, does she know he's sick leading up to it?
Yeah, there are signs there, and he basically requests not to be extended, essentially.
Okay.
His
She'd
mind,
like...
his mind starts to go first. That's the big sign.
She, as his mind starts... Well, throughout the 10 years, she makes sure that all of her kids are able to see him and connect with him and know him for the man that he is.
Yeah.
And once his mind starts to grow, starts to go, it's only really her and sometimes Guriel that go to visit, because I don't think she could bear her kids' confusion as to why Granddad can't remember them.
Makes sense, and easily enough done.
And the last time that she sees him, they sit by the beach, and she tells him the story that he told her of the moon. When she was lost and didn't really know what to do, she repeats the story that he told her.
And at the end of it, he kind of takes her hand and asks you to write down a story for him.
And she does. And alongside that, she writes down all the stories that he has told her over the years. And she writes everything, from every adventuring story, from every sea story, to every fantasy and fable. And she writes it all down in his honor. And she makes sure that people read it and that they know what it is.
And in those kind of that twilight time of his, he seems to have annotated it with his own thoughts, the parts he liked, the parts that made him laugh every time. And when you eventually send him off, and you find that same book you gave him, it's covered with his words, his thoughts. And the next time you go to sleep, you notice that Thoth has it sitting in a little glass case whenever you come to visit him. That book.
And this is the part where I start to cry.
Yes. That's actually, we're going to leave it there for today. If there's further stuff to get into, we'll have to discuss whether to do another session or not. But that's
Given
it.
the difficulty of scheduling this one, I don't know that another session's going to be feasible. It might be better to just say this is the last, and
Yeah, we'll have to see. It might be there's a day nearby where we can do it.
well,
Further discussion pending. I do have to leave right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either way, that's it for
Alright.
tonight. If this is the last session that's on recording, then thank you for joining.
Thank you for being with us.
nobody is. It's just us.
Well, thank you to all of you for making these last almost 3 fucking years
It was
something
longer.
else.
With that, good night.